know?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Keep your business in the know with the USPS Ground Advantage service. Visit USPS.com/in-the-know.
Here is your Game of the Week, presented by Hyundai. KWJJ HD2 Portland, 1080, The Fan.
The algorithm we're using is not perfect.
An Odyssey Sports Station. Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by Laurelhurst Market, Steakhouse, and Butcher Shop. A great spot for any occasion. And don't forget, you save 10% on your Butcher Shop order when you dine in. Menus and more at laurelhurstmarket.com. First on the Fan. The Blazers back at it on the road tonight. Game 6 of their 7-game trip. They're in Boston taking on the defending world champion Celtics. DeAndre Ayton, Matisse Thybulle, and Robert Williams remain out for Portland. Jeremy Grant is questionable. Tip-off from TD Garden at 4 o'clock. The Blazers are 8-point road dogs. Lots of NFL news today. Reports out of Seattle indicate receiver DK Metcalf has requested a trade. He prefers to be dealt to a contending team with just 1 year left on his deal. And we've also seen the end of receiver Tyler Lockett in Seattle. He's been released by the team after 10 seasons with the franchise. Lockett was owed $17 million next season. Down in Las Vegas, the Raiders and star pass rusher Max Crosby have agreed to terms on a 3-year, $106.5 million contract extension with over $91 million in guaranteed money. That contract makes Crosby the highest-paid non-quarterback in the NFL. After an all-pro season in Philly, linebacker Zach Bond and the Eagles have agreed to a 3-year contract worth $51 million. $34 million of that contract is guaranteed. And on the ice, the Kraken have traded forwards Yanni Gourde and Oliver Bjorkstrand to the Tampa Bay Lightning. In return, the Kraken acquire 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick as well. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
If you can find the time to explore the mind of a stripper,
then you can find the time to spend with your actual family.
Primetime with Isaac and Suk.
Damn! What they on? All steroids and no carbs? Them some thick-ass kids.
This is Primetime.
We're not like you. We're grown-ups.
Your source for the best in local, regional, and national sports.
Oh, my goodness!
Here are Isaac Ropp and Jason Sakanik with Primetime on 1080 The Fan.
Hey, what it do?
Ahoy! I like the pause.
Thanks.
That's the Larry Johnson free throw.
Yeah.
Did you see Larry Johnson with Steph Curry?
Was there a lane violation tonight?
He was.
Did you jump?
Steph had the whole.
What?
Well, Steph was in Charlotte.
Steph?
Yeah.
Curry?
Stephon Curry.
I like him.
Oh, well, who doesn't? He might be the most. How do you hate him? He's like the most likable dude.
When you were in Arizona, we had a brief conversation about this, and he's kind of the perfect superstar.
Yes.
He's greatness.
Mahomes had a little bit of this, and then
definitely.
Then it got, there was the weird political stuff with his wife, and so there's a little bit of hate coming his way, but Steph is like, he's just beyond hateable. He's like the nicest guy in the world. I was watching the gold medal.
Court of Gold.
Court of Gold, which...
Yeah, I got 1 episode left in that.
Dude, I'll tell you what, I was doing a lot of skip ahead. I mean, no offense to the Serbians, but like, let's do some fast forwarding. Let's just jump ahead. But at the end of it, Steve Kerr, because Steph goes crazy in the gold medal game, and it was really cool. And Steve Kerr's hugging him. And and Steve Kerr says something to the effect of, I effing love you. And he said, you're my favorite player. But he said more than that. He goes, you're my favorite human being I've ever met. And you can kind of see Steph, and you can like Kerr's not BSing. He just says, you are my favorite human being, and like kind of hugs him and kisses him like on the like a cheek thing. And it was kind of like one of these touching moments. And dude, you don't get that very often when a coach says that you're his favorite player, but you're the favorite human being. That lets you know that Steph's unique. He is a unique dude. And I know we're all doing the LeBron stuff, and we should, because LeBron is just continuing to cement the legacy. But if I'm rooting for someone, I'll take Steph over LeBron any day.
I think he's much easier to root for than LeBron.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not even close.
Yeah.
And by the way, you should have been here last week. If you didn't go on vacation, you would have been here for a whole segment on Steph.
Well,
we filleted him.
I was busy watching our Kansas City Royals.
And by the way, Steve Kerr has met a lot of people.
Yes.
Including me.
Yeah.
Including me.
So.
Well, if you had to say, I'm
a little disappointed he said that to him.
In a
honestly.
Stephen Curry,
Thought he would say me.
Steve Kerr, who is the best human being you've ever met?
The best?
He said that was his. He said
the best.
He said you're my favorite. You're the best human being I've ever met.
I've got two.
You're gonna say Mike Riley, aren't you?
No.
No, you always.
You mean met or no?
Oh. Well, I mean, he hasn't met him. Obviously, he knows Steph Curry. Like, you could meet, I don't know, you could meet Gandhi, but I don't know if you know Gandhi.
Someone who's a part of your life, I guess.
Yes.
Well, my dad.
Yeah.
And my wife.
I will say.
I have lip quiver. I have lip
Why
quiver.
I'm excited.
Well, those are really boring choices.
I
but
know,
you.
but they are.
Yeah.
Because here's what I always say about these. We've been in sports a long time, and these people, these athletes, people put them on a pedestal, and a lot of times they're pieces of crap.
Yeah, they're not great.
Well, that was
so I'm just a big fan of, if you're going to really say who is the best person you know, you better really know them.
Yes.
It's not just gonna be George. I grew up idolizing George Brett. I found out that George Brett is kind of a drunk and an a-hole, and it hurts. I still love him, but it hurts.
By the way,
because that makes two of us.
Speaking of that, after we get done with this, I had another Will Clark run-in down at spring training.
Wait, positive or negative?
Negative.
Hold on.
Oh no.
Hold on.
We got to get to why.
That's just.
Yes.
Yes. This is too many.
Well, it's what we do.
Squirrel.
What? Ah!
Okay. So every time Steph Curry does something great,
yeah,
I have to let you know that Ryan Buckley sends me.
Only because you've also embraced his greatness.
Oh, I have, for sure. But I also feel like Buckley got a little bristly when I said Steph Curry was not in the top 10 all time.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Buckley,
because now that's a debate.
Yeah.
And Buckley thinks that's absurd.
Yeah.
And so now he sends me Curry propaganda every time he does something wonderful.
Or Curry facts, depending on how you want to spin it.
You guys had another weird propaganda. Like, Buckley will slant hard for a propaganda tour. Who was it? There was a pitcher. That Buckley wouldn't.
It was
Blake Snell last year.
Like Buckley wouldn't shut up about Blake Snell.
It was more. I thought I was locked in a battle with Isaac that I could win.
Yeah, well,
about the greatness of Blake Snell.
It was about being desirable at the trade deadline. There were layers to that.
Yeah, I just don't think.
I'm just saying,
Blake Snell's great, but I don't think
Blake
he's
Snell's fine.
that great.
Screw him.
Buckley
He's
will
gone now.
dig in along party lines.
Yeah, I will.
But
and
did
will
you
kiss
notice
the
that?
ring.
By the way, we're going to gloss over that. Yeah. Right there. He just punted on the Blake Snell argument.
He's a Dodger now.
Because he's no longer a Giant.
Yeah.
So that tells you
Party
he's disingenuous.
That's what I'm saying. He
Doesn't mean
digs in
disingenuous,
along
means I don't
party
care about
lines.
the argument anymore.
Buckley's up there standing and clapping during addresses. He doesn't even know what he's clapping for.
You idiot. Okay, so why did you mention Larry Johnson and Steph Curry?
We're back to Larry Johnson. Oh.
Well, yeah.
So Steph Curry, the greatness that is Steph Curry, second to only Papa Rop, who I am excited because I have met your parents on several occasions, and your dad does seem like a lovely human being. And if they come up here, you better believe I'm sitting down and bending that ear and having a glass of brown.
He'd love to hang with you.
I absolutely would.
He will have a 7-7.
Ooh, really?
If he drinks, he will.
He's a clear alcohol man, huh?
Well, I mean, he's not an alcohol man. He doesn't. He doesn't really drink.
Yeah.
But if he does,
7-7.
he'll oftentimes have a nice fruity beer.
Yeah.
Or if it's like a bar where it's like, I don't really know what to. Just give me a 7-7. I know what that is.
So we could have a ruby. We could meet.
Yeah, he likes the
We
ruby.
could meet at a McMinimans and have a ruby.
He'll say, "Do you have anything that resembles the blue moon?"
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's that's the Midwest man, huh?
He's just not a huge drinker.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, the old Drops, they may be, well, the plan is they're going to come here in May and live here.
Well, if that's the case, just know I would like to suckle at that wisdom teat for a while.
He is a wise man.
He seems like just good, solid.
He's a wonderful man.
Midwestern sensibilities.
That SOB has helped a lot of people in their lives.
Yes.
He's been a chaplain, a minister, and an insurance agent.
He's seen some things.
A father.
I want to hear life stories. Anywho. Steph Curry was in Charlotte last night doing Steph Curry things.
He was in Madison Square Garden.
Oh, yeah, it was in Madison Square Garden. Sorry.
Yeah.
Why was...
Because we're all over that.
Yeah, it was that... sorry, it wasn't in Charlotte. It was Madison Square Garden, and...
But the connection is that LJ and his dad played in Charlotte together.
And so Larry Johnson was there, and Steph Curry said that was his favorite player because that was his first... Like, he was a little kid. That was his first, NBA superstar.
That's cool.
Was Larry Johnson.
Did you know that, Steph Curry
I did
boy?
not. No.
So, after the game, Larry Johnson took a photo with Steph Curry, and Del Curry looks great. Del Curry was there, right? And then I saw Larry Johnson, and,
not as great.
Well, we don't,
Is he fat?
Yeah.
Just let himself go a
He
little
just let
bit.
himself
He's
go.
got some money, right?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, right?
Well, he's looking old.
Yeah. Well, he is.
Is he one of those guys that blew his savings, or did he hold on to it?
I don't think so. It's just not a...
He's sort of unrecognizable.
Yes, you would never know. When I first saw that photo, I was like, who the hell is Steph Curry with? And I was like, oh, gosh.
He's one of those guys where you look at him and you go, how do I know that guy?
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be able to put two and two together until he told you his name.
That dude could walk down the street, and outside of just being a big human being, you would not know that was Grandmama. He looks like Grandpapa.
Let me tell you something. That's an interesting... For Steph Curry to say that was his favorite player, I think is awesome.
Yeah.
Because he could easily say, I don't know, how old is Steph? 30...
I don't know, 36, 30...
Would he be in the Kobe Bryant growing up watching? So
I'm trying to think the era that his dad was there, but I know he spent a little bit of time around Muggsy Bogues too in Charlotte.
But I mean the superstars.
Yeah, these are just the people that he was obviously around. Yeah. There's a photo of him really little running around, and there's Larry Johnson.
Yeah, but he could have easily said, because he was in the Dell was in the NBA, he was around NBA players. He could have easily said Kobe Bryant or whoever. Yeah. I don't know, whoever else, Michael Jordan even. I don't know. But he didn't. He said Larry Johnson, and that's great because Larry Johnson was a blast to watch.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't really he wasn't a basketball player skill wise per se.
He was a beast.
He was just a monster.
Yeah,
and a tough guy.
And he calls Steph he's nephew. So I think that's an uncle nephew sort of thing. I don't know if that really is his favorite player. If that's more like uncle is. I don't know. It was cool. It was a cool moment to kind of see those two kind of reconnecting, and it shocked me that is Larry Johnson.
And there's a lot of choices. I'm looking now. You've got, I mentioned Muggsy, but you've also got Alonzo Mourning, Glenn Rice, Vince Carter, Rex Chapman, Hersey Hawkins, Charles Oakley, Vlade Divac, Anthony Mason.
No one's favorite player is Vlade Divac. What?
Some little Serbian boy.
Maybe, I was going to say one of the Serbians. Maybe Nikola Jokic was.
I don't know what side he came down on that, because that was the fall of Yugoslavia. So actually, that might not be. It might be the Serbians that hate him. I'm not sure where Vlade fell in that whole thing. I don't know. That whole
Curry,
ethnic cleansing thing might be problematic.
He wasn't around Steve Nash, I don't think, but he could have easily said Steve Nash because of their size and just Steve Nash was awesome to watch. Curry could have tried to, emulate Steve Nash.
Let's be honest. I'm just saying there may have been multiple answers to that, but last night it was cool because he was with Uncle, Larry, and he gave him that. That was my first. It was like his first favorite player. Larry Johnson was the business back in the day.
He was definitely the business. He is not somebody that will ever go down as greatness.
Yeah.
But man, that's a dude I wanted on my team.
Yes.
He was.
Well, and I remember he had the Converse shoes and the grandma commercials, and he was on Family Matters hooping with Steve Urkel. Larry Johnson was awesome. I love Larry. In fact,
he's like the Warren Sapp of basketball.
Yeah. And he wasn't necessarily in the best shape. He was just this big kind of brick. But when I was a little fat kid growing up, you better believe I loved me some Larry Johnson. Those UNLV teams.
I remember going into the Foot Locker and they had a marketing deal where it was the grandmama legs coming through the floor with the dress on and the Converse.
Dude, I had a pair of grandmamas. Those things were great. I was because when you're kind of a fat kid, you can't emulate Michael. So I was a Charles Barkley, Larry Johnson guy. You needed someone that was a little more rotund.
Round mound to rebound.
Exactly.
Okay, well, so now we get to the next squirrel, which was somehow you morphed into a Will Clark story.
Yeah, I found out Will Clark continues to be an ass.
No way.
Except for that one bus driver
Except
who
for
liked
the one,
him.
I'm holding on to that one bus driver. So we're sitting down in spring training, and there's these two leathery people, these two alligators in front of me, and they're yakking, and I'm not paying attention. It was in between innings or whatever. And you ever hear just a name and all of a sudden you kind of you perk up, you're like, what? Huh? And so I'm sitting there and I hear Will Clark. So now my interest is piqued. I'm like, oh, Will Clark.
Sweet swinging lefty.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there and I hear him talking about Will Clark. And so I kind of did you do the lean in a little bit because I really couldn't hear what was going on. And the old bag heard or saw me kind of leaning in. And she kind of turned and gave me the, can I help you? And I was like, oh, sorry. I was like, are you guys talking about Will Clark? And she goes, oh, no, you're not like his brother or anything, are you? And I went, no. I was like, he was just my favorite player growing up. And then that look came over her face and I was like, oh. I was like, you don't like Will Clark. And then she had some sort of story about how some sort of connection when he was in San Francisco and they're baseball people because we're watching the Giants. And sure enough, Will Clark's an ass and they hate him.
That's it?
Yeah, well, they were just, they crapped on him. And I was like,
know that.
I was like, oh, man. Well, I was hoping when they said that they knew Will Clark from the Giants days, I was excited. I was like, hey, here's someone that meets Will Clark.
And he was awesome.
I was about to get a really cool Will Clark story. No.
You know what?
I got he's an ass again.
Do you know what the worst thing to ever happen to you is?
What?
And it's the worst thing.
Yeah.
That you've met that bus driver who likes Will Clark.
Yes, because there has to be others.
No, there don't. No.
No, there don't.
Don't clip that.
Please.
No, there do not. Wait. No, that's not right either.
Please just keep going. You're doing great.
No, they don't.
You don't even know what you're saying anymore.
I don't know what I'm saying. Am I trying? There do not have to be others.
Please.
That's right. That's right.
There do not?
Right?
There doesn't have to be others.
There do not?
There doesn't have to be.
But please
There do not have to be others?
Can you just do a montage of what we just heard because it's spectacular?
Damn it.
There doesn't have to be others.
Okay,
and I say
that.
there does.
No, there does not.
There has to be.
No, there does.
It can't just be that one bus driver.
No, there. See, that's what I'm saying. There's always an exception. Just trust that Will Clark is in the camp of George Brett. They're both a-holes. And you know this. And I'm sure there's some little Johnny somewhere who's like, oh, George Brett's great. No, he's not. Generally speaking, he's not.
See, and
neither is Will Clark.
Every time we bring it up, I hope this isn't true, but text line, Will Clark was my favorite player as a kid too. And then my dad went on a business trip to San Francisco and heard a story of him calling his teammates the N-word, so he no longer was my favorite player. Slander!
And he runs
I choose not to believe.
And he runs with, what's his nuts? Aubrey Huff.
No.
Yeah, Will Clark's a bad guy, man. But he had a hell of a swing.
He did.
So just let's wrap our heads around
I'm just saying,
that.
In that moment, I had my little Chick-fil-A sandwich, and I had my beer, and I was all excited that I was getting ready to hear a cool. They're like, oh, but I should have known when she said, "Oh, you're not his brother" or something, and I was like, "No, do I look like Will Clark's brother? No, I love Will Clark. So he was my favorite player growing up, and just the look on her face, I immediately knew where that was coming, and then
wasn't Will Clark the one that got hurt and he lied about it?
What? No, it's Jeff Kent.
That was Jeff Kent.
Jeff Kent.
Yeah, I don't like you putting another
another white red ass.
Yeah. Jeff Kent was kind of a jerk too, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, everyone hated Jeff Kent.
What is it with baseball guys?
Well, you ever meet Richie Sexton? It's like
I have met Richie Sexton, and he's fine.
No,
he is. He's fine.
No,
he's fine.
I've heard more. I know more people that have direct knowledge of that. This Will Clark stuff is hearsay. I have direct knowledge of the Richie Sexton.
I'm like the bus driver. Richie Sexton was not mean to me at all. As a matter of fact, he was delightful. So, somewhere, somebody likes him.
All I know is
doesn't mean they're right.
There's one guy, and I'm going to continue to seek out others. Don't make me call Aubrey Huff and be like, hey,
what a quest.
Is Will Clark a good dude? Although, is it bad when Aubrey Huff's
weren't they gay together?
What?
They were gay.
No, that was Huff and Burl.
No, yeah.
Oh, damn
Again,
it. God.
this Will Clark slander you're putting on him. Like, wouldn't it be some if Aubrey Huff is like, oh, he's the best guy in the world? That might be worse than when people tell me that Will Clark was an ass. This dude that was in spring training, he worked somehow with. He was in the front office. He did something with the Giants.
Whatever.
And anyway, apparently Will Clark's an ass.
It's not a newsflash that Will Clark is an ass.
But he's gay.
All right. There's your opening seggy today.
Yeah.
It's a Wednesday show. We love Wednesdays here.
It's off to a rising start.
Yeah, it sure is. Forget sleepless in Seattle. Wide receiverless in Seattle. Am I right?
Hey-o.
Am I right?
By the
Fellas?
way, I've been telling you for a year. Like, I love when people are.
Is this an I told you so from you already?
Every single person knew that this was happening. And then when it happens, like Seahawks fan, what?
All right, we'll get to that next on The Fan.
The best fan.
Hell of an exchange.
I would like to state live on the radio that I still believe there do not have to be others to be correct.
There do not what? No.
There do not have to be others.
That's not what you said.
That is what I said. You just played it.
I think it just sounded odd, but you're right. It would technically work.
That's right. It just sounded odd.
You were
because
just so unsure of it.
Yes, I was very unsure of all of it. There do not have to be other. I think that if I said it that way, that
is what you said?
Now, all of a sudden, it sounds right.
That sounded okay, what you just said. I'm not certain that's what you said.
Well, he just played it.
I need to hear it again.
Can we hear that whole
Because you butchered it like 9 different times.
kidding me? No, there don't. No.
No, there don't.
Don't clip that.
Please.
No, there do not. Wait, no, that's not right either.
Please just keep going. You're doing great.
No, they don't. There do not have to be others.
Please.
Yeah,
it's
right.
just
There do not have to be others.
There doesn't have to be others.
Damn it.
There doesn't have to be others.
Okay,
and I
yeah,
say
that.
there does.
No, there do not.
Yeah, it's the way you said it.
It's the way
You had a Larry Johnson pause in your free throw.
Yeah, no,
But-
I was just really unsure of
Yes.
it, and you guys assumed that I was wrong again.
Yes.
Little did you know I was actually right.
It was a good assumption on our part, but
There do not have to be others. That's why I thought it was right the first time. Like, that's right. But then my confidence was shaken to its core.
you were rattled.
I was rattled, and grammar usually does not rattle me.
No. Well, you're a grammar rodeo champion, but that was not your finest work.
No.
Hey, it happens to the best of us.
But I saved it.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't know I saved
You
it.
did. You brought it around.
Well, guys, we have big NFL news today. The Seahawks have no wide receivers left except for Jake Bobo and Jackson Smith and Jigba.
The greatness that is Jake Bobo?
No, Jake Bobo sucks.
Yeah, well,
if I remember right.
I don't know if he sucks. He was that guy coming out of camp that, there's one.
There's
and it's
always that guy.
It's always the white guy.
The great route runner with
Yeah.
great hands.
Tough run, smart run.
Jim Rat.
Yeah. But no, one of the great Seahawks
Jake Bobo?
is no more. No. One of the all-time great
Yeah,
Seahawks is
it's
out.
over. And the Seahawks are pissed today because there's 2 bits of news. Tyler Lockett got cut.
Yeah.
And DK Metcalf requested a trade.
Yeah.
Decaf Metcalf.
Are you on that call?
What? Decaf Metcalf?
That was Joe Tessitore getting it wrong in a big moment.
Decaf Metcalf. Wow. See, even the best get it wrong sometimes, Jace.
Yes.
The Seahawks are mad because they wanted today to be Tyler Lockett Appreciation Day.
Yeah.
But somehow it leaked that DK Metcalf requested a trade.
Well, my guess is that DK Metcalf requested it. Like, he leaked it. DK Metcalf, for all of his talents, DK Metcalf that dude is a pain in the ass, plain and simple.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think listen, DK Metcalf will be traded.
Yes.
The Seahawks are going to shop him around, maybe Green Bay, maybe Vegas, but as good as he is, I don't think that Seahawks fans are upset about that.
I hope not.
Because he's a bonehead.
Yes.
And now Tyler Lockett, give me Tyler Lockett any day of the week.
Yeah.
A player like Tyler Lockett over a player like DK Metcalf.
Yes.
I mean, that right there, just those two guys, as good as Metcalf is and as talent, just as physical specimen as he is, give me Tyler Lockett all day.
Yeah.
That guy was nothing but a pro for 10 years.
No, and he was a better receiver. Look, we fall in love with the freaks, and Metcalf is the definition of that. Big, giant, freaky looking dude. But, outside of the 1 year, I want to pull this up real quick. Blip, blip, blip.
No, there don't.
Yeah. So the 2022, so 2 seasons ago, he caught 90 balls.
Wait, who are we talking about here?
DK Metcalf.
Okay.
He caught 90 balls.
That's good.
Yeah, it was very good.
That's good.
And he had, I don't see how many TDs he had. Yeah, 90 balls and 12 touchdowns. That's the, that was a big year for him. But, since then, you look at him, 66 grabs, 66 grabs, 8. He's solid. He's a good receiver, but he's not necessarily a great route runner.
Yeah.
He gets
50 yard worth the headache.
He gets 15-yard penalties all the time, and
especially if you're going to have to pay him a bunch of money.
Yeah, he's expensive,
and
you're not necessarily in a win now mode. His best years, you didn't make it's not like you're making a big push. And so I think as you're trying to build a culture there,
100%.
I've never been a DK Metcalf guy. I just have always thought that he was a little overrated simply because he's a one-trick pony, but he looks really good, and we fall in love with that.
Well, he makes some amazing plays, too.
Absolutely, and that's why I said we kind of fall in love with the, we fall in love with the idea of receivers, and I don't know if there's another position we do this about. I think we do with Odell Beckham was another one of these guys that I think had that. You make a couple big moments, you have a big year, and all of a sudden we're like, oh my God. You know who we're doing it right now? Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams hasn't been Devontae Adams in 2 years, but we fall in love with that, although he at one point was the best receiver in football. DK Metcalf has never been that guy. And so yes, when you ask me which one was the better receiver, I'm with you, dude. Give me Tyler Lockett all day long, but he's going to be 33. He had a huge cap hit. I think his cap hit this year, had they kept him, was, what was it you said?
I think this coming year, $17 million.
Oh, at 17, and then it was actually worse because of the bonus. That was if they cut him. It was going to be somewhere, I think, north of the 20s. Like there was no way going into this year, you knew that this was the last year of Lockett, unless he took a massive restructure. And so here you are, and he's gone. So this was like a very easily predicted thing. And now that Metcalf wants out, we'll see what market is out there for him. I'm guessing Seattle isn't going to try to play hardball with him if Metcalf wants to go and they can get a decent return for him. I don't think Seattle's going to sit there and try to hold him hostage. And by the way, he's got 1 year left, and then after that, he's done. So you're not going to get a huge return for him. But if you can get a fourth, if you can get a fifth for him, something like that, I think that's probably what will end up happening. And then Seattle will wave goodbye, and they're going to move on with Jackson Smith and Jigba, and they'll address receivers in the draft.
DK Metcalf next team odds: Green Bay Packers 3-1, Patriots 5-1, Raiders and Steelers 7-1, Chargers 8-1, Cowboys 10-1.
So, and I would warn anyone. New England Patriots.
Boy, I could see him on the Cowboys.
Yeah,
that's
right?
a cowboy kind of move.
Well, it's a cowboy kind of move, and you put him in an offense that actually could be good. You give him a real quarterback. He's got a real number one on the other side. And again, he's not a full route tree receiver, and you already have CeeDee Lamb, so Metcalf can be that one trick guy, and it could work in Dallas. And that makes sense because Dallas wants to win right now, and they do have the ability to hopefully keep him happy. But if he goes to a place like New England, that isn't going to be very good with a young
Pittsburgh, even like what do they have at quarterback right now that's going to keep him happy?
Well, Drake May.
No, I said or Pittsburgh.
Oh, Pittsburgh.
That was also on that list.
Like I don't want, if I pair him with George Pickens, who's also a whiny little you-know-what. So now I've got two temperamental guys that don't play very hard all the time and a quarterback that's going to struggle to get him the ball. I would say the same thing in Vegas. It doesn't make sense. DK to me needs to be a guy like that goes to an organization with some structure and the ability to keep him somewhat happy, and you don't have to rely on him to be the guy. So there's a place for him out there. He's still I think he's 27, 28 years old. So I'm not trying to sit here and say that he's, long in the tooth and I don't want anything to do with him. I just think that we often overvalue guys like DK Metcalf and what they mean, because again, I ask you, as good as he's been in Seattle and he's been solid, what has he meant to the Seahawks? Really nothing. It's just he doesn't move the needle for
I think he's helped them. So it's hard to quantify what he's meant. I mean, look at his numbers. He's good.
Yeah.
Deep threat, good. Stretches the field, that's good.
Yeah.
Opens things up for Smith and Jigba,
Sure.
Lockett. Yes, all of that. How do you quantify that? I don't know. I just feel like he's replaceable.
Yes.
I mean, that's really it.
Yeah.
It's just a number. Look, if DK Metcalf were squeaky clean in terms of just his attitude, this is maybe a different conversation.
Sure.
Right? But he's not.
No.
And they're looking at the price tag and they're looking at the headache and they're going, not really worth it. We can find, we'll find somebody in the draft. There's a free agent. We have Smith and Jigba. We're fine.
And we don't even know, by the way, if Seattle is going to honor this. It's just, it's 1 year left of the deal. We would assume that Seattle's going to move on.
Yeah, they'll trade him. No, they don't. So I don't know. I just think Metcalf made this because of the way he is.
Yeah.
I think he made this kind of a whatever.
Yeah.
For both the Seahawks and Seahawk fans.
Sure.
They're just like, fine. Yeah. I mean, he's good.
Sure.
And we shouldn't downplay that, but
No.
he's just easily not easily, but they can replace him.
Yes.
And they should replace him. I don't think they should pay him a bunch of money because he's kind of a headache.
Well,
did you see what Lenore said about him?
No.
Diamador Lenore.
Former Duck great. Yeah, what did he say?
Well, he is, of course, of the Niners now.
Yes.
And we have a Niner fan here on staff.
That's right.
Ryan Buckley loves Diamador Lenore. He said he took to IG Live.
Okay.
Is that
Instagram Live, yeah.
Is that something you guys know? To react to DK Metcalf, and he said, y'all cannot let DK Metcalf leave. How am I going to have fun out there? In Jigba, he be crying all day. That's all he do is cry baby. That's what he said.
Really?
Yeah, so which is funny because
the Niners have baited DK into getting ejected recently, so they like having him around.
To me, I think Lenore is
throwing shade at him.
He's
right?
throwing shade at Metcalf.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
By calling in Jigba a crybaby, I think he's saying, dude, that's all Metcalf did was cry, and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I also saw Jigba got on Twitter and said, "Ayo, WTF?"
He's catching strays. Well, clearly, if your in-division rival is saying don't let the guy go, that's shade that he's thrown at him.
Yeah, they knew they could get under his skin.
Yes.
They loved it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being a DB, how fun it would be to get under DK Metcalf's skin?
100%.
And how easy it would be?
Yeah. And he just, he just is kind of one of those like unhinged players, but he's
Meanwhile,
good.
Try rattling Tyler Lockett.
No, that guy's a pro's pro, and it bothers me, and we're falling victim to it. But it does suck that on a day where hopefully this should have been a Lockett appreciation, and this is why it bothers me. And this is again the DK Metcalf thing. I don't believe that it was an accident that it leaked the day that Lockett is getting released.
What?
Guys like that just always wanted about themselves, and look, there's no position quite like wide receiver in the NFL, and I know they're important and we love them, but boy, I feel like receiver to me is starting to become a little bit like the running back a number of years ago.
I agree.
There's plenty of them to be found. You don't have to pay. Like if you're a true number one guy, Chase and Jefferson, I get it. And by the way, those guys don't get moved very often. They don't hit free agency. You just don't see those guys because teams hold on to them.
But it's like dudes 10 through 35 are all the same.
Exactly. And you can find them.
Get them cheap.
Yes, you can find them lots of places.
Couldn't agree more.
So,
yeah. All right, well, let's take the time to appreciate Tyler Lockett.
Yes.
Let's give him his own segment. And if you bring up DK Metcalf in our next segment, or if I do, or if Buckley does, we will be kicked off the show. Permanently.
There will be no more DK Metcalf talk.
Metcalf. Just not in the next segment.
But we will talk about decaf Metcalf. That's fine.
The YouTube chat said they needed more caffeinated Metcalf with the Seahawks recently. Less.
No, you wanted decaf.
Yeah, I was
he
going to say.
probably did want decaf.
He's always caffeinated.
He's always. Remember we had that sweet, like, weird three-way thing going on where he was texting the gals? That was kind of fun.
That's right.
Yeah. He had one of his ladies coming in from way out of town, texted her mid-booty call and was like, sorry, I found someone better. And then changed his mind and was like, no. I talked to my other gal. She says it's cool if you come and we'll do a little three-way thing. Turn around, come back.
And she did not.
She did not. But she did leak the messages, and that was kind of fun.
But it was a nice try.
It was a nice try.
All right. That Tyler Lockett segment is next. Here's Buck.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this Sports Center update. First on the Fan, the Blazers back at it on the road tonight. Game 6 of their 7-game road trip. They're in Boston taking on the Celtics. DeAndre Ayton, Matisse Thybulle, Robert Williams all remain out for Portland. Jeremy Grant is questionable. Tip-off from TD Garden at the top of the hour. The Blazers are 8-point road dogs. Lots of news in the NFL today. Reports out of Seattle indicate receiver DK Metcalf has requested a trade. He prefers to be dealt to a contending team, has just 1 year left on his current deal. We've also seen the end of receiver Tyler Lockett in Seattle as he's been released after 10 seasons with the franchise. Lockett was owed $17 million next season. Down in Las Vegas, the Raiders and star pass rusher Max Crosby have agreed to terms on a 3-year, $106.5 million contract extension with over $91 million in guaranteed money. That contract makes Crosby the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. After an all-pro season in Philadelphia, Eagles linebacker Zach Bond will get a 3-year contract worth $51 million. $34 million of that will be guaranteed. And on the ice, the Kraken have traded forwards Yanni Gourde and Oliver Bjorkstrand to the Tampa Bay Lightning. In return, the Kraken acquire 2 first-round draft picks and a second-round pick. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley, the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Decaf Metcalf.
The Fan Merch Locker has a new black 1080 The Fan hoodie, as well as classic long and short sleeve tees.
You're welcome. You know what? I just like to say that. You're welcome. All of you.
For free, by the way.
That's right. That's right.
Sucker.
You don't have to pay for that.
No, it's the best bang for your buck out there.
I do know that.
Join my Substack.
Right.
I don't know what that means, but you got to pay for something.
I think isn't that kind of like Discord?
I think you pay and then
Yeah.
I saw it because that evil bitch Casey Anthony now has.
Oh,
she's reemerged.
What's she doing?
She's
I saw something about
hand to God. This and I don't mean to throw this out there because I know it can.
I sent Isaac a story about this potentially for the club.
She is. I wish I could call her a C word. She killed her kid. and then tried to throw her parents under the bus for it, got off.
Throw.
Yeah, throw. That son of a bitch.
I do know that.
She's now a, quote, legal advocate. And so she has like a between $100 and $10. I think it's between $10 and $100. You join her, whatever. And she says all the money she collects, she's going to go to help like be a legal advocate, aka it's going to go in her pocket. And she's now like on TikTok and like making videos.
That sounds very generic. Legal advocate
exactly.
for what?
I hope someone hits her with a bus.
And the
she's
story
just
I
out of
sent
money.
you is like she's getting political too. I mean, she's like opposing different political groups or something.
A legal advocate.
Yeah. She's
like the advocates.
Yeah, except she's not going to be suing anyone. She's just going to keep the money for herself. I'm surprised she's not just doing OnlyFans at this point. Hey, bitch, you killed your kid and you got away with it. Maybe just shut up and go away forever. I hope something horrible happens to her. I hope she gets Lou Gehrig's disease, to be honest with you.
Casey Anthony, one of America's most hated women, rebrands herself as a civil rights advocate to oppose Trump.
Oh, okay. There's the tie-in.
I was
going to say, that's...
What's that meteor? Can it hit her? Can something hit her? I mean,
What if she becomes our next president?
At this point, nothing would shock me.
Stephen A. president is what I want.
All right.
However...
Well, this was supposed to be the Tyler Lockett appreciation segment, but
the second greatest receiver that the Seattle Seahawks have ever had, Tyler Lockett.
That's right.
Only behind Steve Largent.
Doug Baldwin. Oh.
No. Doug Baldwin is fourth, actually, because I had to look this up.
Yeah, so I wondered if you looked this up, because I did too.
Yeah, because I knew Lockett would be up there.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if Lockett, I was like, I don't think he got Largent, because I think I would have heard had he become the all-time leading receiver. And he's not. Largent's numbers are ridiculous. He's got 13,000 yards, and Lockett's 8,500. But it's actually Brian Blades is third, then Doug Baldwin.
Yeah, so number 2 all-time in Seahawks history in receiving yards is Tyler Lockett.
Yes.
Number 6 is DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
So it goes Largent, Lockett, Blades, Baldwin, Darnell Jackson, DK.
It's very weird. Joey Galloway's on there, but I mean, and Lockett's second in touchdowns. Lockett is a Ring of Honor member. I mean, Tyler Lockett is
just a pro.
Absolute greatness.
He's a guy that you could count on.
Yes.
I don't know, just a great dude.
Well, and I love guys like that, right? He wasn't, coming out of Kansas State. It wasn't like he was, the end all to be all. He's a smaller guy. Made one Pro Bowl, made one All-Pro team, but was just a consummate professional and had some really, really great years. I mean, he had a couple seasons where I'm looking here his best. He had a 100 grab catch with 10 touchdowns.
You mean 100 catch season?
Yes.
We're killing it today.
Did I say 100 yards season?
You said 100 grab catch.
God bless America. Well, I'm still thinking about cursing at Casey Anthony.
I do know that.
He had 100 catches.
No, there don't.
10 touchdowns. He was great. I think sometimes like guys of his stature just get overlooked in the NFL. And if you weren't a Seahawks fan, maybe you didn't pay any attention to Tyler Lockett. But if you were a Hawk fan,
you knew. Yeah, you
knew how good he was.
He was a pro, man.
Yes.
Reliable.
Yes.
And I'd take him any day of the week over.
We are doing great
over
today.
DK Metcalf.
Are you thinking about cursing at Casey Anthony too?
No, I don't really care about her.
Merry Christmas, bitch.
He was also behind one of my greatest gambling wins. Final week of the regular season, incentive week. 2 touchdowns, 17-1 odds. It's wonderful.
All right.
Is that what you...
Thanks for that.
I like that.
That's how I will remember Tyler Lockett, that he cashed 17-1 with 2 touchdowns against the Cardinals on the last day of the regular season.
It makes me happy that Buck's entire world revolves around his big gambling wins.
Decent money that day.
Yeah.
So who is your worst, like who do you hate most because they screwed you in betting?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know that I have like a betting vendetta right now, like this season. Orlando Magic. I can't every time I bet them.
Is it possible that you may need counseling if you're consistently betting? Because that leads me to believe that you haven't bet on them once or twice, that is a continual thing.
It's like 3 times in the last month.
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
0-3. You can't get a read on the Magic. Hey, guess what? Neither can I. You know why? I don't watch them.
This is once when Travis Demers once asked me about a Washington State Gonzaga basketball line. And,
no. I thought it was preseason NBA.
Well, that too, but no, it was a non-conference Washington State Gonzaga basketball line, and I do believe that there was a preseason game in there too. Like he had like a parlay going.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting and telling him, I'm like, my man, if that's the road you're going down, it's probably time to pick up the phone. Like that's
He doesn't want to hear that from you.
1-800-GAMBLER.
Get out of here with that.
I know the number.
Come on, dude.
You still love.
There's money to be made. Hey, if there's a line on it, there's money to be made.
Every
Not
line's
all
an
of them.
opportunity.
Not all of them, but you got to do your homework.
Yeah.
And preseason, some of the sharps. I don't know about sharps, but some of the people. There's sports betting content all over the place now.
Sure.
A lot of them,
I consume all of it.
Whatever you call those people, they will tell you that there is a lot of money to be made in preseason. There's advantages.
Well, I do bet on preseason.
Yeah, that's why Suk bets the Ravens.
That's the only preseason bet I have ever laid.
If you're following it,
yeah,
because it's about who plays and you got to pay attention.
Yeah.
Then of course that loses 95% of bettors right there because what? I have to pay attention. It's not just free money.
My buddy sends me these horrific, like Instagram clips, and it's always
That's the IG, bro.
Yeah, he sends me the IG clips, and it's always, we should be sleeping, but it's 2 a.m. and we're currently gambling on, and then it's a clip of some sort of athletic competition that you're just like, oh my God, this is a real thing.
Once I start doing the overnight table tennis, you guys can come and get me.
I'm telling you, the stuff he sends me is way worse than the overnight table tennis thing. There's some Special Olympic events going on. There's some stuff from the Far East and just some of the rando sports that are out there. And then you think to yourself, someone does have action on this somewhere.
Hey, and guess what? They probably have value. You can find value in a lot of different types of betting.
Yeah.
JC babes.
Yes, you can.
Get on board, bro. It's the way to live.
Well,
Buck and I are on board. We bet on TGL.
That's right.
Yeah, it's
a blast.
It's a bit disturbing.
And we're kicking ass at it.
Are you?
We won again last.
That's
yes.
right.
Every time I turn around, Buck's cursing at the TV.
You don't hear me cursing when we're winning.
Yeah. See, that's the thing about sports betting.
Or
too,
actually, you do.
You never really. Yeah, nobody likes a bet bragger. You go, yeah, I won that bet. Yeah, well, how about the other 8 you lost? But we're pretty good about that around here.
Yeah.
Whereas, so Buck, he won't often tell you when he wins.
Yeah.
But you will know it when he's
when I'm
getting
down.
screwed.
Yeah.
But TGL, I think, we're figuring we're
like
8-3.
Yeah, I think it's like it might be 9-4 now, but yeah.
We're probably the preeminent TGL experts in the world, really, if you think about it.
In the world.
But we give out our picks for free.
Yeah.
'Cause that's just kind of the guys we are.
Well, at the end of the day, we wish you all the best, Tyler Lockett.
Yeah.
And Seahawk
Your greatness.
legend.
Greatness.
Yes.
And we will miss ye. Good luck in the heavens.
I think I wonder if he walks away because he's still got some juice left in the tank. But I looked it up. He was set to count $31.9 million against the cap this year had they kept him. That would have been the 4th highest cap number for a receiver. Hence, we all knew that Tyler Lockett was about to be no more.
All right, what are we going to do with this Blazer spread?
I know.
We need to talk
I got
about
some
this.
interesting numbers on this.
Yeah. Let's talk about it next because the game tips in about 10 minutes.
Is there TGL?
I have not
Wednesday
picked
to
a
bet?
side either. I don't know what I'm doing on this game.
I think I do. And so we'll get to that next on The Fan. All right, we only have a few minutes before the Blazers tip in Boston. Interesting point spread tonight because Porzingis, Holiday, Tatum are all out.
Yeah.
Brown is sick, but they say he is going to play. Jeremy Grant is out. This morning, full disclosure, actually it was last night. I took Boston
It was
because
9.5, right?
Yeah, it was it was at 10.
10.
And maybe might even been 10.5. But I was looking at the Porzingis Holiday thing, and at last practice, they were both back. And so I was anticipating that they would be playing and the line would go up once they announced that. Well, it's the other way, and now Tatum's sitting.
Yeah.
But I just looked at the line, and this is what gives me pause. It's 9.5 on DraftKings still.
Yeah, so it hasn't moved.
It's moved 1 point.
Yeah,
Now it was down to 8. So what I think happened was once all the injuries got announced, it went way down. Everybody's betting Portland, and now at 8, everybody's like, whoa, Boston.
Well, I got to look this up. I'm trying to find that. I thought I clicked the like on it, but I saw a little spread today because I too was intrigued by this line and was kind of poking around at it. And Boston against West teams this year is brutal against the spread.
Yeah, that's what Danny was saying.
They're like they were like 3-16.
Whoa.
Against the not straight up obviously, but against the spread against teams in the West.
Yeah, Jeff Rust just sent this in, and he said Blazers are 16-3 against the spread versus the East. Celtics 7-11-1 against the spread versus the West.
Oh, okay, so that was flipped. So
Wow.
Portland does real well, and yeah, Boston. So I saw those guys being out, and
Well,
I'm like,
okay, wait a minute. Can I make it again? I'm oftentimes devil's advocate when it comes to things like this.
Yeah, let's do it.
16-3 against the East. Well, you haven't played Boston.
No,
but you played Cleveland.
But you played Cleveland, and you gave Cleveland all you could handle, and
No,
Cleveland
that's fair.
had the guys.
That's fair. But also Boston without their top, I don't know. I think it's very shady, for lack of a better term, that Boston's top 3 players are out.
Yeah.
Well, 3 of their top 4 are
And
out.
it's not moving.
And it's still 9.5. That tells you Boston still might be the play. And I think the reason is the Blazers are coming off that overtime game. That was a hard-fought game that was just on Monday, wasn't it? It was just they only got one night rest. That was Monday.
I believe so.
Or was that Sunday?
They played back-to-back.
No, yeah, they went Sunday, Monday.
Sunday, Monday.
Yeah, see, they went Sunday, Monday, and then went overtime Monday. I think that's why that line is so high. And Grant is out. I think they're looking at Portland going,
Look, are we going
not
on this
buying it.
adventure together as a show? Or
Well, I'm
what?
already on Boston.
Oh,
I know you guys want to take Portland.
Yeah, I kind of want Portland in this.
Well, take them. Take them. I mean, the spread's 9.5. I mean, come on.
I mean, they do have the best player in the league in
Toumani Camara.
I mean, Danny was already comparing him to Buck Williams. He's in the Hall of Fame basically at this point.
You can live bet it.
Buck, you want to go on? You want to go
live
on this
betting
tour-
might be the play here. I don't know. 9.5 is a tricky number. It feels like.
Yeah, that's one of those. It's a trap line. I think they're wanting you to take Portland. Everybody's like, "Oh, we got Portland piss."
I mean, I could. It
Boston
may be
wins
high time for
100
Portland to just lose one of these games by 20.
Boston's going to win 130-80.
I like this from Eskimo. The play is to wait till the Blazers are down 20 and then live bet the spread.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was just saying.
Yeah.
Live betting is not a bad tool.
Oh, I love the live bet.
Yeah.
Dude, live betting's where it's at.
It's not a bad tool, especially in the NBA where the swings are so.
Yeah, you know there's going to be a run.
The swinges.
Yeah.
As it were. Well, I'm on Boston and I don't feel great about it. How about that? Does that tell you anything?
Yeah.
I thought Tatum, Porzingis, and Holiday. I thought they were all going to play.
Yeah, and you got snookered.
And they just beat Denver. I'm like,
and yet here I am not wanting to touch this line.
I don't blame you.
I feel like there's a small bet coming here on the Blazers.
Yeah, come on, put a little something on.
Why not?
Come on.
Why not? At least
you only live once.
We can't watch it in the freaking studio, so.
Wait, it's on K2. I think.
Is it?
Yeah. I think we got K2 tonight.
I think that's accurate.
Yeah.
Let me check.
They're actually going to show this one.
Well, thank heavens. Because
It'll be my first time watching them in weeks, maybe months. Well, months.
It's very frustrating, like when the hometown team is on and we are in the studio and we can't watch the game.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it on my YouTube TV.
Well, it says KATU on the lineup.
Yeah, but that might be their like ancillary channel or whatever. I don't know.
So when it says KATU, it's not actually KATU?
I don't know. I just know because at home I have
that's not confusing.
At home I just have the streaming box so I can watch whatever. But in here we're subject to either Hulu with live sports or YouTube TV, and for whatever reason, the Blazers are never on either one of those.
That's right.
Like they'll have a slate on our YouTube TV where there will be 10 NBA games. They give you them all right there, and you can pick from them. The Blazers, it's maddening to me. At any point, 10 NBA games on YouTube TV, and we don't have the Blazers.
Correction.
Yeah.
Cleveland overtime Sunday.
K2
2.2, the text line is telling us.
Beat Philly on Monday.
Okay. Yeah.
So we had it. But they went back to back, but the overtime game was on Sunday.
Okay, the question becomes, do we have on our YouTube, do we
no,
have
because we can't get 2.2, and we also can't get Xfinity 302. So we're SOL over here.
Lots of twos.
What the hell? All right, I'm going to place a...
Where's K3?
I'm going to throw a sandbuck on this.
Am I right? Yeah, throw a sandbuck, whatever that means.
We'll see what happens here.
And you and I will fight to the death tonight.
It's insane.
All right, the Ducks, they're heating up. But is Dana Altman close to retiring? That's next on The Fan.
Take the Terps in Ann Arbor tonight. I'm Joe Ostrowski here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. Michigan a short home favorite against Maryland after getting blown out at home on Sunday. The Wolverines need a win to stay alive for the Big Ten championship, but Maryland has nearly a top 10 defense and Michigan turns it over 20% of the time. Terps plus 2.5. I'm Joe Ostrowski from the BetMGM Network. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call is the best way to avoid a recall. That's why she trusts Grainger's world-class supply chain to deliver the high-quality supplies she needs to help keep her production line, her equipment, and her customers happy and healthy. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com. First on The Fan, the Blazers back on the road tonight, just moments away from tip-off. It's Game 6 of their 7-game road trip. They are in Boston taking on the Celtics. Robert Williams, Matisse Thybulle, DeAndre Ayton, Jeremy Grant, all not available tonight for Portland. Blazers are 9.5-point road dogs. Lots of news in the NFL today. Reports out of Seattle indicating that DK Metcalf has requested a trade. He prefers to be dealt to a contending team. We've also seen the end of the Tyler Lockett era in Seattle as he's been released after 10 seasons with the franchise. Down in Las Vegas, the Raiders and star pass rusher Max Crosby have agreed to terms on a 3-year, $106.5 million contract extension with over $91 million guaranteed. And after an all-pro season in Philly, linebacker Zach Bond and the Eagles have agreed to a 3-year contract worth $51 million. $34 million of that contract is guaranteed. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley, the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Hot Corner, now in its new time. Tuesdays at 7 after Isaac and Sue on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
What's the most resilient?
Time with Isaac and Sue.
Can build cities, can transform the world, and rewrite all the rules.
That's what I'll be doing every single night.
Which is why
No.
I have to steal it.
What are you talking about, Willis?
This is Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
It's gonna work. It's passable, okay? This isn't terrible.
The best in local, regional, and national sports. With no hidden agenda. Primetime with Isaac and Sue on 1080 The Fan.
All right. Welcome back. Nice to have you along. It's Wednesday. Nobody does Wednesday better than this show.
No.
Proven again by the first hour of grammatical errors. No, there don't. And Google searches.
I've had no choice, but I've headed to the streams to the east now to watch our Blazers.
Yeah, let's just for a quick second.
Yeah.
Okay, and listen, I am not the best guy to say any of this because I don't often watch the Blazers, okay? I just will admit that to you right now. Okay?
Gotcha.
Okay? But we were the first to come on here when the Blazers announced, they were switching up their TV rights and everything.
Yeah.
We were the first to be like, oh, this is way better.
Yes.
It's better for more people. More people have access to them and can watch their games. And it's going to be great. And everybody shut up and it's awesome. Kumbaya. That was us.
Yes.
Again, prefacing, I'm not the best guy to be talking here.
Yeah.
But I find it, when I want to tune into them, shockingly difficult.
I will say that whenever we talk about this, there are a lot of people that come on, and it does feel like it's a little convoluted whenever you're trying to watch them, and I've heard that from multiple people, that I do think it's better access,
right?
And I think more people can, but it can still be a pickle. Like I said, when I'm at home, it's easy. It's very simple for me to find.
So it's there, it's just hard to find.
Well, for me, I have a streaming box, so I just go to NBA and every game is right there, and I click on it, and it doesn't matter. I don't have to go to YouTube.
Yeah, but I mean, for the average Joe, like I have YouTube TV.
Yeah, we have it in here too, and we don't have it.
It's very hard to. Yeah,
Yes.
They're only on there, I think, when they're on KATU, the actual channel 2.
Yes,
which isn't very often, from what I understand.
No, but like this guy is saying, if you guys, you can get a free Blazer Vision account to watch the games if you contacted the Trailblazers. So I do think there's ways to do it, and I think more people have access to it. I just think it can be a pain in the ass. Or again, you got to take off your cable, and if you go to the Rabbit Ears, you can get it if it's on K2. And like I said, the only time I have to deal with it is when I'm in the studio. And for me, honestly, I go to Stream East and I refresh. So but
here's the other thing.
It is frustrating for me that we have in here, we have YouTube TV and we have Hulu with live sports.
But every time we talk about this, and it comes up from time to time, people come on the text line and they're like, oh, do this. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. And they say 8 different things.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift.
What is Rip City 302?
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know.
Or
I think that's the Xfinity channel. 302.
Yeah,
well,
okay.
we don't have Xfinity.
We don't have Xfinity.
And then KATU 2.2, which we don't have. So we have on YouTube TV, we have channel 2, but we don't have 2.2.
That is correct.
So the answer to
that is correct.
The question I want answered is, if Danny Meringue were working right now in the studio, how would he be watching the game in here?
Probably on his laptop.
Or maybe like cast it to one of the screens or something?
I don't know. Again,
That's a weird question to ask. Who cares?
It's on my
because he would have an answer to how this would be done, and we don't know.
Oh, I guarantee.
Well, that's true.
I just know that we have 2 of the preeminent streaming services here at the Fan. We have YouTube TV and we have Hulu with live sports. Like this is all I'm saying. I watch the Red Wings and Canucks play almost if one of those 2 teams are playing, I am watching a hunk of that game. And it is 1,000 times easier for me to watch the Detroit Red Wings or Vancouver Canucks than it is to watch the Portland Trail Blazers. And that to me is a bit
problematic.
Well,
but, I've got it on here right now.
Look,
And
it's like this. And Danny, like somebody said, Joe said, don't say that to Danny. He'll call you an idiot, talk down to you, and tell you it's not that hard and you're the problem.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of true.
Sure.
If you want to watch the Blazers, you can.
Yeah.
You just got to figure out the best setup at home. Like, it's got to be a priority for you.
Well, someone said, like, if you have Comcast, then it's easy, 302.
Exactly.
But we don't have Comcast.
Yes, but if you're a Blazer fan and you're at home, you may have Comcast for that reason.
Yeah.
Whereas other people may not. It's not that important to them. So for the people that it's not that important to, I think there is a subsection of people in there that you want to be able to see your games a little easier than what is occurring. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think you're wrong.
So people who don't really, they check in with the Blazers here. They're playing Boston.
Sure.
Okay, so that's a good team to play. Let's check in. I'm home from work tonight. It's an early game against Boston. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to watch the Blazers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a lay fan. I don't really watch them all that much, but I'm going to do it tonight. It is not easy for them to just go pull that up.
Yeah.
And it should be.
Yeah. Again, 2 of the most abundant streaming platforms here, and we can't watch on either one. I'm watching it on Stream East on my computer.
And then for the people who say just get an antenna, yes, I know they're cheap, but again, you're talking to people who aren't going to go out of their way.
It's a higher barrier for entry.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, $30. Well, I'm not going to go pay $30 and then put up an antenna or put, in my window or whatever just to watch a game twice a year.
Yeah. I tend to agree.
You just freaking just Taylor Swift.
So it's the Blazers' fault you guys choose to use YouTube TV and Hulu instead of Fubu and Xfinity.
You people are impossible. Resourceful little bitch.
Yeah, hey, Blazer fan, man, getting a little sensey there. I have officially bet the Sawbuck on it though, so I got it at 10.
What's the score?
It's 2-0. I think it's 2-0 right now.
Who's winning?
The Blazers. Come on, man.
Oh wow. First
Blazers 3-2. I'm seeing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I threw it down on there. I did get it at 10 though, so I feel pretty good about that. Bet online.
All right. Coming up next, we got to talk about Dana Altman.
The brush, man.
He is going the way of Tyler Lockett.
I don't think so.
God dang, what do you think?
6 in a row.
The brush ain't going anywhere. This is what they do.
That'll be next on The Fan.
Do we want the Blazers to
Seahawks did it again last night. You heard it here on the Fan. They won.
God dang, what do you think?
They won again. They've now won 6 games in a row, guys.
That was close, and then they just kind of suffocated in Indiana at the end. It did throw me that Indiana was in black.
Yeah.
Very un-Indiana.
I wasn't prepared. So I was finished the Red Wing game, and then I flipped over, and I had to do like a bit of a double take. I'm like, wait, did I get the red? Oh, yeah. Why is Indiana in all black?
But hey, 6 in a row in the Big Ten.
Absolutely.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I think now I'm seeing projections of possibly a 5 seed for your Oregon Ducks.
That's about right.
Well, and I think if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe that Altman has ever not won a game in the NCAA tournament.
He's never been one round and out.
Yeah.
Or I mean, like out in the
one
first
and
round.
done.
Yes, I think every time that he has made a tournament with Creighton or your Ducks,
he's good.
He wins, and
this is his time of year.
They started off hot, had that weird swoon in the middle, and then here you go.
Well, we learned over last week that since Altman got to Oregon, he has the most wins of any coach in the country in the month of March.
This is correct. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
So last 15 years, he's had 70, I guess now he's up to like 74 wins in the month of March. More,
Yep.
He was like 1 more than Bill Self and 2 more than
North Carolina.
Where's it? North Carolina, and yeah.
Yeah, so it goes Altman 74, Kansas, North Carolina won the other night, so they're at 72. Kansas is at 71, Kentucky 69, Duke 66.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Think about that the company.
Yeah.
Kansas, North Carolina, Kentucky, and Duke. Most wins in March since 2010. Dana Altman leads all of them.
Yeah. And this is what they do. They get written off in the middle of the year, and they're going to make a run. I mean, this smells like the Sweet 16, and Shellstad has come around again, and he's had some awkward moments, but he had another huge 3, Damian Lillard style 3 last night, and here they come. Now, the only thing I would say is, well, they did that win against Wisconsin because this win streak that they're on, it's no offense to the Northwesterns and USCs of the world, but
the Wisconsin one was impressive.
Wisconsin one was impressive, and that was they dug their way out of the hole and got it to overtime, and
they were down 17.
Yeah,
on the road.
And so give them that. And now I think they only finish up with Washington. And I think there's a chance they could end up being like the 6th seed in the Big Ten tournament. But to go your first year in the Big Ten and you're going to end up with, 23, 24 wins, it's a hell of a run for the first time. They're solidly on the 5 or 6 seed in the NCAA tournament. And again, Dana Altman doing Dana Altman things.
So there was an article in the, I think it was ESPN, that suggested that he's one to watch for retirement.
Really?
This offseason. Yeah, and it's not a report. It's just it was just a guy spitballing.
Yeah.
He was like, I got some old guys here who may be ready to hang it up.
He'll be 67 in June.
Altman and Rick Barnes was on the list as well, of Tennessee fame.
Who just stepped down? Didn't we have a coach? I'm trying to think. Didn't we have someone that I'm trying to think. Did we have someone that recently stepped
Bill
down?
Self's close.
Yeah, how old's
there's some reports that he may be done after next year.
Well, I mean, I will say that if you've got your money and you've kind of got your legacy, although, Altman's never, won a championship. And so, I mean, does that keep you coming around? Do you feel like it's even realistic at a place like Oregon? I know someone like Bill Self, obviously, like that would matter, but Bill's got his. But, you get into your late 60s, you've made a ton of money. And this new world of basketball and NIL, and you just wonder if there's more and more guys that are just going to look at it and pull the, you're not even retiring early. My God, like you're 67. Just maybe it's time to go do something else and not have to deal with that crap.
Yeah, he's been around a long time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it is. Listen, Dana Altman's probably one of those lifers. But with the way college basketball has changed, I cannot see him really deep down. He never tells you what he's really thinking.
Yeah.
But if you really get into his soul, I cannot see him loving this whole NIL transfer thing. And he's trying to do his best with it, but
it's not the era that
it's not his. Yeah, and that look,
it's like the Jay Wrights of the world. You know,
they all hung it up. Jay Wright left, Roy Williams left, Jim Boeheim left, Coach K left. I mean, there's
some of those guys had plenty left in the tank, but they're just like, this isn't for me anymore.
There's a reason all those guys left, and I think Altman is kind of that ilk, and so we'll see.
Yeah. I'm surprised he's done as well as he's done in this new era. Granted, he hasn't made a Final Four recently, but since all the transfer portal NIL stuff has happened, I thought Oregon might crater a little bit, and they've been fine.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Yeah.
Doing good.
and there's always with Altman, there's always dips, right?
Oh, Tony Bennett left.
That's who I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, this year, right? At the beginning of the year.
He seems young. I don't think he's that young.
I was like, there was someone that dipped out of this thing, Irish exit style.
Jim Laranga left.
Is that Miami?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an old school guy.
So
Tony Bennett's 55.
Yeah. And he just was
wow.
He was out. And Altman's not the most dynamic guy in the world. And I don't know, maybe in the NIL era, like you said.
Dang, what do you think?
I mean, Oregon certainly has the resources. I just don't know. When you're the head coach at Oregon, do you feel like you need or you can achieve that national championship in order to?
I don't know.
Is that the carrot? Because I know if you're at Carolina, if you're at a place like that, you're at one of the Blue Bloods, and you've been this good for that long, I think that kind of keeps you coming back. I don't know. Like you said, he hasn't been to a Final Four. What, 2017? He's been to 2 Final Fours, never been to the finals. And let's be honest, like Oregon is a really good program. Oregon is not a contender in basketball every year.
No,
to win
but you would think that maybe, and I don't know the inner workings of their NIL, but the way football is going, committing to NIL, is basketball. Like, does Dana Altman, is he looking at that, kind of salivating, going, hey, yeah, we're as good as anybody in the NIL department, so why can't I win?
Well, I'd be surprised if we're going to say that Oregon has one of the top 3 or 4 robust NILs. Why wouldn't basketball have it?
Yeah, it's kind of what.
But you don't really hear.
No, you don't
that much about.
But they get good players.
Yeah,
he's always gotten good players.
Although I've always stated though, I find Oregon to be weird in that. I mean, Shellstad was a big time recruit, but it's a local kid. A lot of their big guys that you hear about, the Mookie Cooks or whatever, I always feel like there's like a 5-star kid, and that never feels like that's the guy that drives the team, right? When's the last time that was like the true, like you paid and you bought the kid or the 5-star kid that's coming out of high school that was the star of the team? It doesn't feel like that's really Oregon.
Well, I think that, and this would be a deeper conversation. It'd be interesting to get, Dana Altman's true thoughts on this. Because I can tell you as a Kansas fan, Bill Self is struggling with this.
Yeah.
It is really hard to balance those guys, the NIL guys you need.
Yeah.
It is so hard to balance that with other transfers. Yeah. And then, oh, by the way, guys who you want to groom over 3 or 4 years that are just college ball players that are going to help be the foundation of your team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's just it's just odd. Like Bill Self has 2 dudes who have been there for years, played the most games in like Kansas basketball history, right? So then he adds 4 transfers to that. Well, one of the transfers is a kid from Wisconsin who was averaging 20 points a game at Wisconsin.
Yeah.
He can't even sniff the court again at Kansas.
Really?
And that's not because Kansas is so good. Is that they just have really had a hard time figuring out his role. That's a really good college basketball player. His name's AJ Storr. He's terrible for Kansas. Like he's awful. So it's a odd thing when you have all these guys. You really need the guys like Shellstad or whomever that are going to stay there for several years, right?
Yeah.
You need those guys to.
Pritchard was one of those.
Exactly. You need so you've got those guys, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 of those guys. They're not the best players, but they're glue guys and they're your program. Okay. Then you add your 5-star freshman. Well, they're going to take their lumps. Okay, they're going to. Yeah, I mean, it's going to take them some time. So then it's transfers, and
he's done very well in the transfer portal.
I know, but it's just it doesn't always like we always think. Oh, this kid's coming in from so and so. He was really good there. He'll be really good here. That's not always the case, and I think these coaches are having a really hard time because they're all very heavy-handed. They all want to do things a certain way, the way they've always done them, right? And they're having a very hard time adapting to kids who maybe don't jive with that. And then you got not only one of them, you got 3 of them.
Yeah.
And none of them are getting, or it's not that they're not getting longer, but they're just not fitting in right, and it takes some time. It's just a weird, I would imagine it's a very hard balance for a head basketball coach right now.
Yeah.
And I think they're all, even Bill Self's struggling with it. Dana Altman's struggling with it. Tom Izzo's struggling with it. Who are the best coaches? They're all struggling with it. They still have good teams.
Some of them have walked away.
Yeah, and the others are like, I'm not dealing with that.
Yeah.
And I could see Altman being, I'm not dealing with that. Now, if Oregon needs a new men's basketball coach, where do they turn?
I don't know. Again, we've had this debate many times. Like, what is the Oregon job? Remember when Altman got the job, however many years ago that was? Supposedly, remember they were knocking on the door. Was it Pitino? They knocked on Izzo's door, and none of those guys. Thanks for coming.
How about the resurgence of Ricky Pitino?
No kidding. That St. John's just
Johnny's
the
kicking some
vampire. That son of a, he will never die. ever.
He's amazing.
It's just say what you will,
So yeah, he's at St. John's, and by the way, they're like top 10.
Yeah, they're rolling,
and their defense is nasty.
Yeah, they swept UConn. They bitch slapped little Hurley. Yeah, he's wearing the white suit again. Freaking Rick Pitino. He's over there. Lots of Italian restaurants in New York too. But remember, so they end up with Dana Altman, and everyone at the time was like, "Oh, Dana Altman," and you're like, "Dude, that's a hell of a coach.
Good hire.
It's a good hire." And he was rock solid. I still don't know what that job is. So when that job, that's 2 years, 3 years, whenever that's open. One, I don't know how many of those real big name guys are out there. I think there's, like you said, we may be undergoing a turnover here in what we consider the elite coaches. And I'm not certain that Oregon job lures guys out of that. And so do you go farm the mid-majors and you find the next Dana Altman, or do you go the road of football and you go find, the Georgia defensive coordinator and you get the next Dan Lanning? And
yeah, I don't know.
I don't
that
know.
BYU guy's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
He's good, man.
Well, and they
Kevin Young, is that his name?
And BYU lost their guy to Kentucky. But like the Sprinklers up at UW, they're the worst damn team in the conference.
Yeah, give him some time.
I know, but I'm just saying, they pulled him. Who knows? Remember, the last UW coach, that was the guy they got from Syracuse, supposed to be Boeheim's right-hand guy.
He sucked.
He sucked too. So,
Hopkins.
I just be happy that you made a really solid hire with Dana Altman. And so when that job comes open eventually, I'm just not certain that you're going to get a name that you're going to be like, oh my God,
Does the name TJ Otzelberger mean anything to you?
It does not. I have no idea who that is.
Right. So that's kind of what I'm talking about.
Guy.
Dude, he is amazing. He's the coach at Iowa State. I don't know if you saw BYU Iowa State last night.
I would like to point out who won that game.
BYU.
Yeah, basically at this point, we're unstoppable. We run the Big Ten.
Dude.
Nice try, bitches.
That was a great game.
Yes.
And BYU went into Iowa State and beat them. They were like 33-1 at home in the last 34.
Did you see the crowd, by the way? It was really cool afterwards. Like, the crowd gave both teams like a standing ovation.
It was awesome.
Leaving the course. Freaking phenomenal.
Dude, it was awesome. But my point there is that Iowa State coach, and by the way, your BYU Cougars, they're good this year.
Yes.
Saunders
didn't start out that way.
No, they were soft as cookie dough in the early part of the schedule. But that coach has got him cooking. Anyway, what I'm saying is the Iowa State coach, his name is TJ Otzelberger. Nobody knows his name. Nobody can pick him out of a lineup. He is, and they said it on the broadcast last night, he is without question a top 5 coach in the country right now. Now, I don't think you can get him out of Iowa State to come to Oregon, but I think a Kansas could, or whomever comes calling. But
therein lies my question. This is why I don't know what the Oregon job is, right? At Iowa State, Big 12 basketball conference, they freaking love it. They packed that place. Electric environment last night against BYU. And by the way, let's not act like BYU coming to the barn is the greatest thing in the world, but that place was packed. It was amazing.
Senior night.
Oh, that's a good point. If what's that guy's name?
TJ Otzelberger.
Does it bother you that you come to Matthew Night and there's 7,000 people there?
It would bother me if I'm Altman.
So, that's what I wonder. If you're coming from Iowa State or a program like that doesn't have the resources, doesn't have the NIL that Oregon does, but you also know that you are not the thing. The basketball at Oregon is second fiddle doesn't even do it justice. Yeah, they're the second fiddle, but my God, dude, it's not even a fiddle. You're the banjo. Football runs that, and it's not even close.
You're just kind of there.
And so that's why I don't know if, when push comes to shove, despite the unbelievable facilities, as good as anyone in the country, an unbelievable arena, great, robust NIL, and you're in the Big Ten now, which is a phenomenal basketball conference. I just don't know. I don't know when you look outside of that if you think that is a program that's you just would think that a place like Iowa State, it would be a no-brainer to go to Oregon, and I'm not sure it is in that sport.
They have an awesome program there in Ames. So,
and by the way, I thought Altman went to a Final Four with Creighton.
He did not.
He did not.
No, he was very good in the tournament with Creighton. But
and he had he ripped off 7 or 8 20-win seasons in a row. The only reason people at Oregon were like, Dana Altman, was because it was a mid-major guy.
So he went to just the one Final Four with Oregon and made some runs, but never made. For whatever reason, I thought he had been to a Final Four with Creighton. So
can Dan Lanning take over the basketball team?
He can bowl.
What do you think about that?
Did you see that?
Yeah, he bowled a strike.
Yeah, and he said he had a line holstered. Someone said the pressure was on, and Dan fired up with a pressure is a privilege, and then went out and George Bush did, or Peter Weber nailed the strike. Who do you think you are?
we're gonna have to get that drop of old Dano.
Well, you can't really hear it in the clip. It's hard to hear.
Yeah, but he said pressure is a
privilege, and then he bowled a strike, and then he
watch me hit this drive.
Yeah, maybe he should take over the basketball team.
Yeah,
Maybe he should take over the presidency.
Twofold sort of thing.
All right, coming up next. We're already In the News.
We are.
The show is flying by. What can we tax next to get even more money out of our citizens?
that we're going to piss away.
That's next. Here's Buck.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by Laurelhurst Market, Steakhouse, and Butcher Shop. A great spot for any occasion. And don't forget, you save 10% on your Butcher Shop order when you dine in. Menus and more at laurelhurstmarket.com. First on the Fan, the Blazers back on the road tonight. It's Game 6 of their 7-game road trip. Don't look now. They've got a 2-point lead on the Boston Celtics. It's 23-21 in favor of the Blazers. 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. Jenny Avdia with 6 points for Portland. Scoot Henderson with 7 off the bench. Lots of news in the NFL today. Reports out of Seattle indicate receiver DK Metcalf has requested a trade. He prefers to be dealt to a contending team. We've also seen the end of the Tyler Lockett era in Seattle as he's been released after 10 seasons with the franchise. Down in Las Vegas, the Raiders and star pass rusher Max Crosby have agreed to terms on a 3-year contract extension that'll make him the highest paid non-quarterback in football. And after an all-pro season in Philly, linebacker Zach Bond and the Eagles have agreed to a 3-year contract worth $51 million. $34 million of that is guaranteed. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley from 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Do it every morning. Dirt and Spray. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
Hey, have you been injured?
I have many times.
Well, cool.
It's not cool. Getting hurt sucks. You got surgery bills, you got PT, all kinds of stuff. It's no good.
This is an ad. And look, I was trying to think of something clever to say, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, you've really been on your game today.
No, there don't.
It's been red hot. So I'd like to see that we're carrying that over.
I am on fire.
Now, here's the thing. If someone set you on fire, you know what you got there? You got a reason to call the advocates.
Yeah.
Someone doesn't get to set you on fire.
Because that would hurt.
That's right out. No good. Maybe it was like a baseball hot foot, and then it's kind of more of a playful ha-ha thing.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
But if it spreads past the foot, brother, you got a lawsuit.
Yeah.
And when you got a lawsuit on your hands,
lawsuits.
there's only one person.
I'm going to start becoming super litigious. I just feel like I've never been that type, but I'm going to just be that now. I'm suing everybody.
Start mixing it up.
I've been hurt. You hurt me.
Well, the POTUS loves, he doesn't fear the courtroom.
That's his bit.
Take a page.
I'm going to do it.
Start suing some people.
My
Let's
attorneys,
go.
Ken and Donnie from The Advocate.
Vicious.
Yep. They are vicious.
The claw's coming out.
Yeah, so the advocates don't get paid until you win. If you've been injured, you need more than a lawyer. You deserve an advocate. advocateslaw.com.
Is there a drain causing problems for you?
Duke on 1080 The Fan.
It's funny. So it has been documented here on today's program that Suk is on the Blazers and I'm on the Celtics tonight.
That's right.
And the score is 31-26 at the end of the first quarter.
31-28 now. Thank you.
Boston was leading, and Suk was like, "I'm good with that," and I was like, "I think I am too." How about that?
Both okay.
Like right on the number.
Yeah.
At the end of the first quarter.
And Buck responded with, "It's almost like they're going to have to play 3 more quarters to find out who wins their bet."
Nah. All right. It is March 5, 2025. It is time now for In the News. I am your noted and humble, slightly sexy newsman. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. It is brought to you by The Advocates, injury attorneys at advocateslaw.com.
If you've been set on fire.
Today is Stop Bad Service Day.
Oh.
So,
yeah, I mean,
put a stop to bad service.
How can you stop bad service? I mean,
we can't really. It's oftentimes not the service person's fault.
No, I try to give.
It's usually the cheap ass company that makes them.
Yeah.
That overwork, understaffed.
Yeah, you know that someone's working like 17 tables. It's not their fault. They're trying.
Exactly.
Once in a blue moon, you get someone that's just crappy at their job, but you try to give them a break. They're having a hard time.
Yeah.
But the whole tipping thing right now. There's a lot of it's creating a bit of a war. In fact, John Oliver just did his show on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh, I like it when he tackles something like that.
Yeah, a lot of people right now are really pissy about the tip game, and some people are just opting out of it altogether, and it's become a real divide. Shocking, our country is divided on something.
Well, Europe does it completely differently.
Well, and like in Japan, if you try to tip, they will return your money and you'll piss them off.
Yeah.
Like it's very rude to try to tip there. But I think some people here are there's a difference between going to ringside and not tipping, and like when you go to a Blazer game and they hand you a thing of popcorn and that damn thing turns around and they want you to tip 20% on your popcorn. I think people are getting a little pissy and bristly at that.
It is also Discover What Your Name Means Day. And I have here, well, we've done this before, but
I think Jason is just son of Jay, is it not?
No, yours means, Jason means healer.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that?
I thought it was like something about the light.
Healer.
Whatever.
You are far from a healer.
Well, Jason, no.
I mean, that really doesn't suit you.
Plus, Jason, I don't know what you feel about Asachi, but Jason itself, it's like,
You don't like your name?
I don't mind it, but it's just
I don't mind Isaac.
Boring white bitch like Jason.
Yeah, it's a normal name.
You know how many Jasons I know? It's like
it's very mid.
Yeah.
You're very mid.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever. No one calls me that anyways, but whatever.
Jace. They call you Jace.
Jay. A lot of Suk, obviously.
Isaac means laughter.
Well, you are
very funny.
You are not really funny man.
Like in a language, or like what does Isaac mean laughter
thing, right?
It's Hebrew.
Okay.
And then Ryan means, and this one's absurd. Ryan means champion.
Oh, see, I thought it was Little King, but close enough.
It's same idea.
Okay.
Little King or champion.
That's right. A rule.
I'm calling you Little King now on.
That's right.
What's up, Little King?
My rap name now.
Okay.
Well, what can we tax to get even more money out of our constituents?
Let's go. I often think to myself, I don't nearly pay enough in taxes.
Oregon lawmakers debating that recently.
That's great.
They have proposed now a 4% tax on
tires, right?
Ah, you saw this.
I did.
Yep, tires.
Well, now people are pissy because they're like, well, that's just a sales tax.
Right.
And it is. It's just a sales tax on one particular thing.
Yes, they're debating a new tax that would increase the price of new tires. Those tax dollars would support several things, incling the environment.
Ah, yes, because you don't have enough of our money.
We have not given you anything for that, so that was a big hole in the.
I often think about that
budget.
in this lovely state of Oregon. I think to myself, yeah, that is. We don't spend any money on the environment, and we don't tax anything enough. I mean, yeah, let's go.
House Bill 3362.
You already get my 9%.
Or as they say, 3362, aims to support mitigation efforts to protect fish and wildlife from the impacts of vehicle crashes and tire pollutants.
What?
It also aims to support the expansion of Amtrak Cascades rail service.
Okay, time out. Why are cars crashing?
Tire pollutants? Maybe, just like, in cars.
So when a car crashes, like it affects fish?
Well, the tire, yeah, the rubber. Am I wrong?
Cars are often crashing into the water. Am I missing?
Oh yeah.
Is there a
Those
missing link
scientists
here
better
that
check
I'm?
their hypotenuses, dude.
I see a lot of car wrecks. I don't hear about a lot of cars going into the rivers.
I mean, it happens. Your brother had 2 cars in the river, didn't he? Or was it just one? He had 2 cars stolen. One ended up in the river.
Yeah, one ended up in the river.
Yeah.
I don't think that's on the norm. We need a tax to prevent that from happening.
That is something that I have not heard before.
It appears so.
That seems a bit of a reach, but again, what do I know?
It would do so by raking in an estimated $25 million a year in Oregon tax revenue garnered through a 4% excise tax on tires. How do you feel? Are you okay with that?
Well,
I'm not.
No.
I will refuse to buy tires.
I don't think that's how that works.
No?
No. Kind of need those tires. A lot of people in
build
Vancouver
my
are
own.
already going into, although at that point it would still be cheaper to go into Oregon to buy tires. Then you're saving on
Yeah.
the,
4% versus what, 9% or whatever it is?
Yeah, 8,
Eight
8.5,
8%.
whatever it is. So the people that watched it are like, hey, all right. Although I think a lot of tire places like that, they do account for that, and it's either cheaper there or they paid the tax. Because people in Vancouver, it's when you have a big ticket item, it's tough for businesses because so many people are willing to just hop across the bridge. So I do think that is kind of budgeted into the price.
But it's true, man. This a guy on the text line is like, basically people just keep buying tires because they need them, and they're not going to really care about the 4%. It's just one of those hidden costs. That's right. That's why they're doing it.
Yeah.
You got to choose something that everybody needs. They're always going to keep buying.
What are you going to do? Not buy new tires when you need
right.
them? You have to.
They got you by the balls.
Then vote this effing thing down, because the last thing that greedy piglet suckling at the teat of the taxpayer needs is more effing money.
What else do I have?
I feel a little strongly about that. My hot takes today.
Who's the greedy piglet?
Casey Anthony, that dirty bitch. And
you literally just blow the hell out of these hogs.
And freaking taxes. Enough. Every now and then, because my kids are just starting to hit grown-up world, and when they show me their paychecks, I'm like, yeah, welcome to the world.
Yeah, I know. They're like, wait, what?
Huh?
Yeah. We've been trying to tell you, you little S-heads.
Well, here it is.
Guess what? It gets worse.
Yep.
3 Oregon campsites were ranked among the prettiest in the United States, Chase. See, some brighter
I'm sure
names.
you've been to so many of these. You seem like such an outdoorsman.
I'm a camper. Yeah, that is next on the fan, Buck.
Do you camp in Vegas?
Bitch.
I don't think that the Wynn is considered camping.
It's a version of camping.
Like glamping, maybe.
That's next on the fan.
This is the Fan's Window into Sports, a view into today's top stories. Brought to you by Window Nation, online at windownation.com.
So I'd say the first one's almost like, can I say this?
Yes,
Can we delete this? Is this live? You don't know what I'm saying? You don't know what
this is the best part. You can be you.
It's almost like the first time you have sex. You're so glad you had sex. It's not even the quality of it. The second time,
That's actually great.
The second time, it's like, wow, I could actually have fun and enjoy this.
Yeah, that's Howie Roseman talking about winning a Super Bowl.
Really?
Yeah. He compared it to
Horny Howie. Huh.
Yeah.
A lot more fun the second time.
Wow.
Because you know what you're doing a little bit.
I mean, it's not a bad analogy.
It's a decent analogy.
Hey, I
Seemingly.
seemed a little uncomfortable, but I like it. Let's roll with it.
Window into Sports brought to you by Window Nation. Right now, get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy and get 0 interest and 0 payments for 2 years. Pay nothing until 2027. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. Isaac Ropp for Window Nation. Don't miss your chance to take advantage of the buy 2, get 2 free, and pay nothing until 2027 offer ending soon only from Window Nation. Schedule your free estimate now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
The best basketball party is back. The Fan.
All right, this is in the news for March 5th. We are in March. It is officially time for March Madness.
Yeah, I think a couple of the tourneys have already started. A couple of the conference tournaments.
That's right. Ones you do not care about.
No. Do you see some of those smaller tournaments now? They're only going to make the regular season league champ play one game.
Wait, what?
Yeah, some of these leagues, the idea that if you play in one of these bastardized leagues, you can get a dominant team and then they get knocked out in the tournament and it sucks because they're not making the dance.
They want to preserve their best team to make the tournament, so they try to make them not have as long of a gauntlet.
Right. So you can make it so that they just get 2 buys?
Yeah, and so I think in some of them you have to win basically 2 games while another team has to win 7 games in 7 days.
I'll show you. I think like the Summit or the Sun Belt, they have it looks like a sideways V, and it's a bracket all the way down. Like the top 2 teams basically have to play a game before the final.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Well, no.
I don't blame them.
I don't blame them either because I've always said I think it's rotten when a team wins 24 games and they're the dominant team and then someone banks in a 3.
The WCC's done something like this to help Gonzaga out.
And you get to go home. Yeah.
Text, not sure about car crashes, but it's become widely recognized that tire wear produces tons of tiny bits of rubber and plastic that harm streams and fish.
I gotta tell you this, all that rubber and plastic, yeah, it's hurting all of us. It's inside us all.
Yes, but what about the fish?
Well, shouldn't we? We're all screwed. Didn't they say there was a study that now every month we eat the equivalent of a plastic credit card?
Yeah, I saw that.
And look, it's just welcome to our world.
Oof.
We're all getting cancer, we're all dying, no one's getting out of here alive.
Oof.
They just keep taxing me. It's awesome. I love it.
Well, if you're looking to aesthetically enhance your camping experience this season, it turns out the Oregon coast and its beautiful old-growth forests are just the place to be, Jace. If that is indeed your real name.
Talk to me.
With data from campsite booking app The Dirt, travel website Matador Network gathered a list of the 10 prettiest places to camp in each of the 6 regions of the United States of America. In the West Coast region, which includes sites from Southern California all the way up to Northern Washington State, 2 Oregon campgrounds made the cut.
All right.
2.
Take that for data.
What do we got?
2. Not 1, 2.
Shut up.
Crater Lake, maybe?
And they are. Well, I said Oregon coast.
Oh, Oregon coast.
I don't know the last time you checked. Crater Lake is not
No,
on the coast.
it is not.
Cape Lookout State Park.
Oh!
Hi.
Can't say I've ever.
Netarts. Is that how you pronounce that?
Netarts, that's right.
Netarts Bay.
Be careful. There's going to be someone on the text line that's going to. Anytime the
That's a tough one.
coasties. Yeah, we mispronounce something on the coast and everyone gets real pissy.
Do not cross the coasties
No.
with pronunciation.
No, they get very upset.
Yeah. Scenic Park. Cool. The second one is the Salmon Huckleberry Wilderness in Welches, found 55 miles southeast of Portland. That's not the coast.
No.
What the hell are they doing?
Look at you taking
Well,
shots
it
at
said
me
co-
for Crater
it
Lake.
said coast.
Well, how the
Welches.
turntables.
Yeah.
It
you
said
son
coast.
of a bitch.
It said it
Welches.
turns out the Oregon coast and its old growth forests are just the place to be. Welches? This is stupid.
Last time I was driving to the mountain, I don't remember being like, hey, where's the ocean around here?
It's like Soup going to a crab feed in Eastern Oregon.
Yeah, threw me off. I was like, what? What are we doing? Oh.
That's
Now, I've been to Welches.
I'm deleting that story.
That's lovely, but again, I kind of want to camp at Huckleberry. What was it? Huckleberry?
I don't know. I deleted the story. I'm disgusted. Salmon, Huckleberry, something.
You can do a lot worse than going to Salmon, Huckleberry, whatever.
Not gonna camp here.
It sounds delightful.
Look, all of Oregon is beautiful.
All?
Yeah. Yeah.
You been
Dude, I grew up in Kansas. Yes.
Look, I drove some on my way to Utah. You have to drive through the eastern part of the state, and I'm not sure I'm ready to call that beautiful.
I am. You ever been to Kansas?
I haven't been to Kansas.
Do you even know what you're talking about?
No, I haven't been.
All right, well, that's in the
It's a
news.
comparative statement, though.
March 5th, 2025. Brought to you by the Advocates, Injury Attorneys
That's where we're at.
The Advocates, Injury Attorneys at advocateslaw.com. The Hot 5 at 5 is next on The Fan.
Don't worry every time it rains. Tim Taylor for Terra Firma. One easy call can protect your home from the damage rain and saturated soils can do to your foundation, basement, or crawl space. Don't sit up all night with a shop vac. Don't convince yourself it'll be fine when it dries out. Have Terra Firma out for a free waterproofing evaluation and get ahead of the worry and the damage. Visit GoTerraFirma.com to schedule your free waterproofing evaluation. That's GoTerraFirma.com, CCB 173547.
Hey, it's Dusty. Victor Rico's just dropped new menu items. Restaurant quality, made fresh, and served fast. Plus, they're open late. So whenever hunger hits, Victor Rico's is ready. Trust me, it's delicious. Visit them in-store or order online at victorricos.com for takeout or delivery.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this SportsCenter update. First on The Fan, the Blazers in Boston for Game 6 of their 7-game road trip. They're currently all tied up, 4 minutes to play in the second quarter. It's 51 apiece for the Blazers. Shaden Sharp and Scoot Henderson leading the way. They each have 11 points. Shaden also has 3 rebounds and a couple assists. In the NFL, lots of news today, especially out of Seattle. Reports indicate that receiver DK Metcalf has requested a trade, and he prefers to be dealt to a contending team. We've also seen the end of the Tyler Lockett era in Seattle, as he's been released after 10 seasons with the franchise. Down in Las Vegas, the Las Vegas Raiders and star pass rusher Max Crosby have agreed to terms on a 3-year, $106.5 million contract extension with $91 million in guaranteed money. That makes him the highest-paid non-quarterback in the NFL. And after an all-pro season in Philly, linebacker Zach Bond and the Eagles have agreed to a 3-year contract worth $51 million. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley, the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The home of Primetime with Isaac and Sue. Weekdays 3 to 7, 1080 The Fan.
Good afternoon. At the tone, Pacific Daylight Time will be...
It's 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock.
One step closer to my own personal hell.
This is Primetime on Sports Radio 1080 The Fan.
We expect the best. We're not afraid to break someone. Do you hear me?
Primetime is your source for the best in local, regional, and national sports.
Go ahead and clap. Mediocrity deserves applause.
Isaac Robb.
I'm miserable. I had to get up at 10 o'clock this morning.
Jason Sakanet.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Primetime on 1080 The Fan.
All right. Welcome back. Hope you're having a nice little Wednesday. I really do. I mean that.
I like the energy.
It's a nice day out there. My name is Isaac.
Soda.
That's what I say because I'm a bro. Salted. Big Sook's right over there.
Oh, dude.
We are Isaac and Sook.
Speaking of sub-bros, I saw a photo today. You've seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High, correct?
Of course.
The original bro. We all know who it is.
Spicoli.
Spicoli.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. Go look up Sean Penn now looks exactly, and I mean exactly like Mr.
Spicoli?
Hand. No, he looks like Mr. Hand. It's the weirdest thing. It was going around Twitter today, side by side, Spicoli in Hand. They're the same person now. It's very, if you want to feel old, realize that Jeff Spicoli is officially turned into Mr. Hand. It's weird.
Oh my God, he does look like Mr.
Right?
Hand. Huh.
He looks like Mr. Hand. That made me feel, and yesterday I was wearing my Sex Wax shirt. That's Spicoli's t-shirt from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, the Mr. Zog Sex Wax. And then today I see that, my mind completely blown, and I'm back to being 1,000 years old.
Yeah. Penn's what? Is he 60 yet?
Oh, he's got to be in his 60s.
Got to be.
Well, Fast Times came out in the early 80s.
64.
Yeah. He's old.
He looks pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie. He does look like Mr. Ham, but he looks like a sexy Mr. Hand.
Well, he
looks good.
This is the benefit of being a male versus female in Hollywood. Sean Penn can look haggard as hell and still kind of pull off a rugged manliness. You know, when you're a gal and you start to age like that, no one says that's a rugged gal. No, it's you just look old. But yeah, Sean Penn does good work.
I do think old white guys say that's a rugged gal,
just
because that's what they do. They comment on things that they.
Well, because we all know that we're going down that road. I mean, when you grow your beard out in your hair, you look a little bit like the Gordon Fisherman, and no one and so you just gotta it's a rugged manliness sort of thing. You gotta hold on to it. It's like the one advantage that we have, because men, we've got the short end of the stick forever. Those damn women, they always have the upper hand. That's the one thing we have on them. I do love when men talk about how life is hard for them.
Especially us white guys.
Yes, the poor white man. When is he going to get his opportunity? When? When do we get to be on top for once?
All right. Coming up here, what should the Seahawks do at wide receiver? The latest concussion research shows something quite surprising.
Oh.
I must tell you about that.
Good surprising, bad surprising.
Oh, I don't think it's bad.
Okay.
Put it that way.
Blazers, by the way, down 9 at the half. I don't like this.
Uh-oh. That might be time to live bet.
Sweat. All of a sudden, my plus 10 isn't looking so good.
Well, the NBA is weird.
I know.
Like
we got to run. That whole half, things were looking great. Oops, I lied. We're down by 11 at the half. Probably that damn Peyton Pritchard. Every time I was turned around, he's hitting another 3. He's got 18.
God, what are they doing? Who's winning? What is occurring?
Boston's winning, and
why?
Freaking Pritchard can't miss.
Who's winning? What is
5-9 from beyond the arc. I got a sawbuck on this, Peyton. Come on.
There is no NBA game that you should even worry about your bet until the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I know.
Really, seriously, dude. Unless it's already like sometimes teams get blown up by 50, like in the first half.
Yeah,
and then you should worry. Yeah. But it'll go back and forth. You know how it is.
There's a run coming.
All right. Coming up in the club tonight, we're going to learn about the Tooth Fairy Index. And
Tooth Fairy Index, huh?
Yes, the percentage of people who pee in the shower. We will learn about that.
Oh, wow. Guilty as charged.
Right now, the hot 5 at 5.
Hot topics, hot opinions.
Oh, golly, I'm hot today.
And hot air. It's time for the Hot 5 at 5.
That's hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 on Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
No, I mean it. That's very hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 with Isaac and Sue. Brought to you on The Fan by Victorico's Mexican Food. Discover Victorico's new savory menu items. Order in-store, online, or get it delivered straight to your door at victoricos.com.
What are you going to do? Pee on me? Like, I don't know.
Number 5.
Yeah, your upstart Blazers are playing the Celtics without Tatum, Porzingis, and Holiday.
Yes.
And yet they've given up 66 in the first half.
It's not good.
And they trail 66-55.
Yeah.
It is game 6 of a long 7-game roadie.
Derek White has 24 and Peyton Pritchard 5 threes for 18.
Derek White has 24?
Who else is
He's
scoring
6 of 9 from deep.
Sam Hauser or Luke Cornett? Come on.
I'm a big Sam Hauser guy.
Sharp has 11 for your Zers. I think he's the leading scorer. Scoot also with 11, so there you go.
In another basketball note, Miami hires Duke assistant Jai Lewis to take over its basketball program, replacing Jim Larinaga.
I know nothing about it.
Do you like that hire?
Couldn't tell you.
Comment now. Go.
Was he a player at Duke?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Duke's good. I know that.
Jai Lewis, whatever.
So there you go.
Hey, Duke is good.
Yeah.
Number 4.
NFC East news. Eagles bringing back linebacker Zach Bond, 3 years, $51 million.
Yeah, I mean, he went from being an edge-rushing afterthought special teams guy in New Orleans to potential defensive player of the year. Looks like they're going to let both Sweat and Milton along their defensive line walk. Bond was clearly the priority there for Philadelphia. And after the year he had, that seemed like a no-brainer. But going into it, a lot of people thought that they weren't going to be able to retain him. But remember, they made a couple cuts in the secondary and a couple along the defensive line they're going to let go. And next thing you know, here comes a well-deserved contract for him.
The Cowboys have reworked Dak Prescott's deal. They convert $45 million of his base to a bonus, which opens up $36 million in cap space. They did the same thing with CeeDee Lamb yesterday.
So maybe they can now not do the Jerry Jones, we're not going to do anything in free agency because there's holes to fill on that roster. By the way, lots of places on that roster.
Number 3.
Well, the Chiefs have traded All-Pro guard Joe Thuney to the Bears for a 4th-round draft pick.
Yeah, this is interesting. So everyone thought that Trey Smith, who was their young guard, was going to be the one to walk, but they franchise tagged him. And everyone was like, man, that's a lot of money to spend on 3 offensive linemen because they're already paying 1 tackle. Well, it turns out they're not going to pay 3 linemen $20+ million. They're going to keep Trey Smith, which means they're going to sign him to a long-term deal. And then Tooney's gone, who, by the way, was their best offensive lineman, but he's 32. So if you're the Bears, this makes sense. You have a lot of money. It's a 1-year deal. It's a stopgap. So they've completely rebuilt their interior offensive line. And so this is kind of one of those that makes sense. And even though Tooney's a better player than Smith, this is just an age thing. So now they'll try to fill that spot somewhere else.
So it's the second offensive line deal in 2 days for Chicago. Yesterday they dealt for Rams guard Jonah Jackson.
And he was in Detroit with Ben Johnson. He was a big free agent signing for the Rams, got hurt, and then was never the same, got benched. So they're counting on him being back to Detroit form. And when you look at what Ben Johnson wants to do, what did he build in Detroit? An elite O-line. So Chicago has spent a lot of money to try to rebuild this, and they're probably going to take a tackle in the draft.
Well, we have a new highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. Pass rusher Max Crosby surpasses Minnesota's Justin Jefferson. Four-time Pro Bowler. Crosby staying with the Raiders, 3 years, $106.5 million his extension. Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, he's
great.
He's the heart and soul of that team.
He is. So this is one of those, I don't love paying these sorts of contracts when you have a lot of holes and you're in a rebuild, but in this case, the guy's certainly worth it. One of the best players, and as you said, even if you think that you could get more for him on the open market, you can't tell the rest of your team that you're punting on the heart and soul of the team. You almost are forced to re-sign these guys, and he certainly is worth it. Truly one of the elite players, and just plays his ass off.
Also, the Raiders are releasing Gardner Minshew, saddening everyone.
They have no quarterback. That's
none. Yeah, they might want to find one.
They gotta figure that out. No offense to Max Crosby, but unless you can throw the 3-step drop, the Raiders are in some trouble.
Dude, what if Brady just rolls out and starts slinging tutties?
Get murdered at this point.
Seahawks wide receiver DK Metcalf has requested a trade. Says he'd prefer to go to a contender. Seattle will now explore that market. The odds-on favorite to land him are the Packers. This news has upset the Seahawks because they wanted today to be about celebrating veteran receiver Tyler Lockett, who was released. He heads to the heavens, second all-time in franchise history behind Steve Largent in catches, yards, and tutties.
True professional, and unfortunately, he was going to be a $31 million hit against the cap. So everyone knew coming into this year, or last year, this was his last season. Jackson Smith and Jigba is their best receiver now. And to be honest with the DK Metcalf thing, if you're Seattle, it's got 1 year left on the deal, whatever. If you can get a 4th round pick or a 5th round pick at this point for him, just he is not worth the headache at this point. He's a very talented guy, but he's certainly not getting you over the hump. Move on from DK Metcalf because you're not going to re-sign him anyways. And maybe a contender will think that he can put you over the top and maybe you can get some decent compensation for him. But if you're a Seahawks fan, I don't think that the Metcalf thing is a big deal.
The Hot 5 at 5 is brought to you by Victor Rico's Mexican Food. 19 locations across Oregon and Washington. Now in Lacamas Square in Vancouver. Find a location near you at victorricos.com. When you think of flavor, think of Victor Rico's. What should the Seahawks do at wide receiver? And a little bit of concussion news as well today. We'll get to those items coming up on The Fan.
The home of Dirt and Spray.
I'm Dirt.
The Fan.
Hi.
What?
Heck no, John.
You have
A lot of players. Well, guys, the Seahawks need some receivers.
Yes, they do.
You know?
I think they have their number. And by the way, we don't know that Seattle is going to deal DK Metcalf. I think they will.
They should.
Well, he's got 1 year left. He's going to want to get paid the next one because, after that, then he's going to be 30 plus. So he's not going to take a friendly deal. And right now, I think he's like 17th, 18th in the league. So he's going to want a big money deal. And I just don't think DK Metcalf, when you look at the money deals that are out there, especially if he wants number one receiver money, he's not a number one receiver. Jackson Smith and Jigba going forward is going to be your number one receiver. And I don't think DK is going to be okay taking number two receiver money. So if you're Seattle right now, see what sort of compensation you can get. And the free agency, by the way, for receivers this year just kicks rocks.
Well, there's some names, but they're all kind of like Stephon Diggs, for example. Like, you're not going to get him.
No. So T. Higgins,
Hollywood Brown.
T. Higgins isn't going anywhere. I think Chris Godwin is nice. I don't think he leaves Tampa Bay. But outside of that,
He'd be expensive, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Well, he's going to be in that mid-20s. And again, if you're asking me who I'd want to pay, I'd rather pay Godwin. I don't like one-trick pony receivers and that kind of have attitude problems in DK Metcalf. And you're trying to build more of a run-first team here. So I don't think Godwin's probably going to be on their radar. So to me, it's simple, right? You have Bobo who came on last year and he had about 20 catches, whatever. Jackson Smith and Jigba is your guy. You can probably go find a veteran depth guy for cheap in the free agent market, which is whatever. And then you go to the NFL draft where, again, I believe receivers at this point for me are like running backs the way we viewed them. You do not, like, if you want a true number one, you got to find that guy in the top 12, right? The Justin Jeffersons and the Chases and the BTJs, like, these guys are going early. And by the way, there may only be one of those in the draft, and that's T-Mac out of Arizona. But every year, it is proven in the NFL, you can find value, and not just value, you can find really good players, second, third, fourth, fifth round. So if you're Seattle, continue to rebuild your trenches, right? Fix your offensive line, continue to build the robust defense, which is what your coach wants, and then go in the second, third round, like go get what the Mbuka, go get the other Ohio State receiver and pair him with Jackson Smith and Jigba. Go get the two kids out of Iowa State. I don't know if you've seen that, Jaden Higgins, who just looks like an absolute beast. Isaiah Bond out of Texas, if you want another speedster. There's plenty of guys that you can get in the second, third, and fourth round that you plug in because you already have your number one in Smith and Jigba. So now you're finding your number two, and I don't want to pay number one money for DK Metcalf. So this is a no-brainer for Seattle. Get the best package, and maybe a team who thinks that they can really get something out of him, maybe you can get a third or a fourth round pick.
So, okay, so you mentioned free agent and the draft there.
Yeah.
I'll go back to free agent real quick. On the top of the free agent list, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper. Then you get to Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks is out there.
Yeah. I mean, again, these are all rinse and repeat recycles. Again, don't fall in love.
Christian Kirk just got cut today.
Don't fall in love with name receivers, and also do not sign receivers 30 plus years old. There's like
Hopkins
in the last 15 years. I think there's 2 or 3 receivers that have gotten signed free agents or traded after the age of 30 that have had 1,000-yard seasons. Receivers don't age like fine wine. They age like moldy bread. And Devontae Adams is still a nice player. Devontae Adams needs to go to a place like Kansas City where you just get him on a deal and it's like, watch him go to Kansas City and then it'll be great. But he is no longer, in fact, when you go back and watch the Jets, do you know that he did not get the double team in New York? It was Garrett Wilson. I mean, that just tells you something that even with the Jets, who were not a great offense, teams were rolling coverage towards Garrett Wilson, not Devontae Adams. So even Adams at this point is not a number one. He's a number 2. So again, don't pay number 1 money for number 2 guys. This is a bad free agent class.
Okay, so then going on further down the list, like you said, find somebody, who's like just a cheaper stopgap guy, free agent. there are names like Zay Jones.
Yeah.
Tyler Boyd.
Yeah.
Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah. I mean, it's not great. Maybe even, maybe find someone that you take a flyer on that's coming off an injury or someone that has something to prove. Just take a flyer, but this is going to be addressed through the draft. I'm telling you, I'm willing to wager that they are going to let him go, DK Metcalf, and I will bet you that there is a second or third and then like a 5th round pick, and they'll draft a couple receivers, and you can find those guys. Again, every year, Puka Nacua was a 5th round pick. Every year, Tank Dell, although, obviously Tank Dell, had everything go south on him. Did you see he had another ACL surgery?
Again?
Yeah.
Why?
Didn't take. So, poor Tank Dell.
That's rough.
But there's an example, too. If you think Jackson Smith and Jigba is your number one guy, you give me a guy like Tez Johnson. Tez Johnson may be sitting there in the 4th or 5th round. And if I'm Seattle and I want to run my play action game and I want to run a lot of this outside zone stuff, go find me some Tez. Go find me some Tez, put that guy in the slot, and watch that guy work and operate. You just don't need to spend money on big name free agents. And I look at this free agent class and a receiver, and I just, me, I think free agency in general is way overhyped. This is a very, very weak free agent class.
Yeah. So then, okay. So
you may be able, by the way, to get good value from DK Metcalf, because if a team really wants a receiver to plug and play right now, DK's still 27, 28 years old. He is a better option than anything out there on the free agent market. So you actually may be able to get something for him.
Yeah. So then looking at the draft, like you said, you named some guys. I mean, the top of the draft in the wide receiver market is the kid from Arizona, McMillan.
Yeah.
Matthew Golden. Don't even know where did he play?
Texas
guy.
He's a guy that ran like 4.29, and he was Texas's number one option. Dude can fly, probably made himself a lot of money. And then you've got
Luther Burden, yeah.
out of Missouri.
He played at Missouri.
And didn't have a great year last year, better year the year before, but probably still a first round guy. And then maybe the safest of the receivers is Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State.
So can they really have Emeka Egbuka and Jackson Smith and Jigba? Can they really do that? And they both played at Ohio State?
Yes.
We can't do that.
Now, again, I wouldn't.
We need a white guy. Where's Cooper? What about Cooper Kupp?
Yeah, if you want.
What about Cooper Kupp?
Honestly,
Seriously,
that's not a bad option.
The Rams are not bringing him.
No,
back.
they're not bringing him.
So
back.
what would they have to trade for him, or is he getting?
And would they trade him in the division?
We'll find out whether or not. If they don't trade him, they'll just have to cut him. So yeah. If Cooper Kupp's available for dirt cheap, or they end up cutting him, yes, go get Cooper Kupp. But my guess is Kupp would want to go play. My guess is he'll want to go play for a contender, and I don't know if Seattle fits that. But yes,
why is all of a sudden Seattle being talked about? Like, are they rebuilding? Are they low key rebuilding? Because I know Metcalf said he'd rather go to a contender, which is kind of funny because it's like, well, wait a minute, you're on a contender technically. I mean,
well, I think the idea is that McDonald is bringing in Kubiak to be his OC. They're going to change the way they operate. This is about to become a run first, play action, defensive minded team. So I don't know if it's necessarily a full teardown rebuild, but things are about to start shifting. You aren't going to be. Remember, at one point they had Lockett, Metcalf, and spent their first pick on Jackson Smith and Jigba. That's not happening with this crew. It's just not. McDonald is going to build this differently, and he brought in an OC that is going to build this differently. So I think if you're Metcalf, one of the reasons you want out, one, you probably don't think you're a contender. The last 3 years, you've won 10 games, haven't made the playoffs. And two, he sees the writing on the wall. He's not the number one guy. He still hasn't gotten his big contract. I think he was 3 years, $72 million that he's coming off of. So he wants one last big payday. And he knows that in this system, he's not going to put up monster numbers. He's not going to be the number one guy. So he's going to want
that. It's just kind of interesting what Seattle is. It's like, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
But not good enough.
Yes.
And McDonald knows that, and he has a different philosophy. So he's going to turn that over a little bit more this year. So they're not really rebuilding; they're just they're refocusing on different strengths. Which I don't know. I mean, that's kind of a rebuild, but not really. It shouldn't take that long. In other words,
no.
So if you want to play for a contender, I mean, I don't know. If I'm a free agent, I could argue that Seattle is going to be better once McDonald gets his stamp on things. It's just, it may not be this season, but it's not going to be 5 years.
No. And maybe, too, the other one for a guy like DK. And
he doesn't want to play with Geno.
He doesn't want to play with Geno. And I still think that Geno's good. And I think in this version of this offense, if they get the O-line right, which is a big if because, God, they haven't got the O-line right in forever. But if they get the O-line right, and I think Geno played in the 5th worst pocket in the NFL last year. So by, the 5th, least clean pockets in the NFL. And we know that Geno, he's a guy that needs to throw the ball downfield, and he's a guy that works the play action. And so you put him in this crappy system, which was a disaster under Grubb, with that O-line, it didn't look good. And Geno's still going to Geno, even if things are great. But I think under this system, and that's why you're bringing in the OC that you are, is you're trying to take some of that burden off Geno and focus on the strengths and not ask him to be the savior, because he's not saving you. So I think that is the extent of Seattle, you would hope, is about to take a step forward. But you've said it. When you have Geno Smith as your quarterback, people just aren't going to take you seriously. It will always be that way. You're going to have to beat people over the head to prove that you're for real. It's the Sam Darnold thing. Minnesota, is winning 10, 11, 12 games as the season goes on. And because they had Sam Darnold, people still looked at him and was like, yeah, I don't really trust you. And then we got to the end of the year and people were right. So I think that's just, until they figure out the quarterback, people are going to have their doubts. But I do like the direction that Seattle's going. So even though some Seahawks fans are going to be like, oh my God, we got rid of Lockett and Metcalf, trust me, those 2 receivers are taking you nowhere. And we just have got to change the way we think about wide receivers in the NFL.
Well, I think it's, kind of what you're saying is when you are retooling and getting your style in there, wide receiver can be the last thing you drop in.
Yes.
I mean, just go with Bobo, go with the cheap free agent, and go with Smith and Jigba for now.
And go draft a couple guys.
Yeah, or next year even focus on it.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't have to be now.
No. It's last year when Buffalo got rid of they got rid of Stephon Diggs, then they got rid of Gabe Davis, right? And everyone was oh my God.
I forgot about Gabe Davis.
Yeah. Like everyone instantly
Where's he now?
Went into this where did Dave Davis go? He went...
It's Gabe Davis, not Dave Gavis.
Yeah, I think he's in Jacksonville.
Really? Dude, he is...
Gabe Gavis.
Dave Gavis.
I'm gay.
That is, boy, you want to talk about falling off the planet?
Yeah.
I forgot about Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
Or is it...
Dave Gavis?
He was hurt a bunch of last year. He played like 8 games and he had, 20 catches. This is my thing is... When you're in Buffalo with Josh Allen, it's amazing how good you look. Stephon Diggs, hey, go away. I want nothing to do with Stephon Diggs. Go take a flying whatever.
Yeah, loser.
And we all sat there and we're like, when Houston got Stephon Diggs, they're like, oh man, this offense. The offense got worse. Yeah, it's not Stephon Diggs' fault, but at this point in his career, he doesn't vault offenses forward. And for all the people that were like, well, people were picking Buffalo to finish 3rd in that division because they got rid of the 2 receivers. One was a pain in the ass that you didn't want to deal with, and the other one was propped up because he had Josh Allen. Well, last time I checked, Buffalo was really good. So I go back to it. Receivers are the new running backs. Years ago, we looked at and we were like, whoa, you got a running back, you're going to be great. No, you're not. And we put way too much emphasis, with the exception of the true number ones. The Jordan Jeffersons and the Jamar Chases and guys like that, yes. You get one, and by the way, those guys are never available. You don't ever see those guys get to free agency. It doesn't happen, because when you get one, you hold on to him for dear life because it's an absolute game changer. But once you get past that handful of guys, dude, they're a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
And you play in a good system with a good quarterback, you can be productive.
All right. Coming up next, the latest concussion research shows something a little surprising. We'll get to that when we return. Here's Buck.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this Sports Center update. First on the Fan, the Celtics turning it on against the Blazers. It's currently 87-72 with 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Derek White and Peyton Pritchard have combined 15 for 23 from deep. Derek White has 29, Peyton Pritchard with 27. Meanwhile, lots of news in the NFL today. Reports out of Seattle indicate receiver DK Metcalf has requested a trade, and he prefers to be dealt to a contending team. Metcalf has just 1 year left on his deal. We've also seen the end of the Tyler Lockett era in Seattle. He's been released by the franchise after 10 seasons with the team. Down in Las Vegas, the Raiders and star pass rusher Max Crosby have agreed to terms on a 3-year, $106.5 million contract extension with over $91 million in guaranteed money. That makes Crosby the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. After an all-pro season in Philly, linebacker Zach Bond and the Eagles have agreed to a 3-year contract. His worth $51 million with $34 million guaranteed. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley from 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The ultimate basketball party, Fan Madness, is back. March 20th and 21st at the Stadium Sports Bar at A&A Sportsbook. More info at 1080thefan.com. It's time for Who's Leading the Charge. A look under the hood at the coaches, players, and teams getting it done. Brought to you by Battery Exchange.
Shot clock at 5. See, Henderson's not giving him space, but he has 2 fouls. Good head-to-head. Pritch got a pull. Oh, whoa! Beautiful 3.
Peyton Pritchard has 9 threes tonight.
Yeah.
For Boston.
I'm sorry, 8 of 13.
8.
And more importantly, it's now 75-92 Boston. My Blazers plus 10 is sinking fast. I don't like this.
I don't know. That's got backdoor written all over it.
Blazers may be out of gas at the end of this roadie. Come on, Pritchard.
Who's Leading the Charge? Powered by Battery Exchange. Power up your summer at Battery Exchange. Mention code BXT10 at checkout for 10% off your entire purchase this month. Online at batteryexchange.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that.
Well, as you know, we've bet Blazers Celtics tonight, and we are now in a very interesting middle position because what we're debating is, so the Blazers are down 19, but what we're debating is the Celtics very shorthanded.
Yeah, they've only played 8 guys tonight, and
They only have 8 guys.
And 2 of them I've never heard of.
So in the fourth quarter, see, I think this goes back to why the spread was still so high, even without Tatum and Porzingis and Holiday, is that I think that Vegas was counting on the Blazers being tired. 6th game of a 7-game road trip.
Yeah.
Boy, it's sure looking like they're gassed.
Yes.
But Boston is shorthanded. So now Buck and I have Boston minus the point. Now you took the Blazers. Now you've got a backdoor opportunity here.
I need something here. I got the Blazers and I'm getting 10.
Yeah, so they're within an earshot of a backdoor cover. Yeah. We've got Boston, and we're thinking about taking Portland plus 18.5 right now, and try to hit them both. Try to get a nice little middle. But then I'm like, well, Portland's gas. But then I'm like, well, Celtics are going to put in like the worst.
Dude, I don't know. Drew Peterson's about to enter this game. You know he is. And if you don't know who Drew Peterson is, neither do I. But look at him. He's coming into the game as a big, lanky, like Mike Glennon apparently plays for the Boston Celtics. And if he comes into this game, backdoor, that's my only hope. Is that at some point in the fourth quarter, Boston's like, fine, we're up by 20. Drew, it's yours.
Right.
And then someone goes nuts for the Blazers, and they lose by 8.
Live betting. I don't know. I think I'm just going to write it out. Hope Boston's
Where's this Tumani Kamara defense on Peyton Pritchard or Derek White, for God's sake?
Yeah, I heard on my favorite midday show that Tumani Kamara is like the next LeBron James.
Well, he's 1 for 9 for 5 points, and Derek White's got 30, and Peyton Pritchard hitting 17 different threes.
Pritchard's got 34 on 9 of 14 from deep.
Damn. How many does he hit? Does he go for
Does he put up a nickel?
The record's 14.
Yeah, see, I think you got to kind of...
Yeah, he's
with a short bench tonight? Go for it.
Shooting.
I think you ride that out.
I want Missoula there with his Ash Wednesday forehead to just be like, hey, man, just keep launching. Just shoot, put up 40 of them, see what happens.
30 years ago, Dr. John Letty was treating athletes at the University of Buffalo when he became frustrated with the conventional wisdom around concussions. The prevailing view back then was that concussed athletes should do very little activity until their symptoms had passed. But new research into concussions is showing that that is not the case.
No, really?
Yeah, this is the new thing. They're saying many symptoms such as headaches can show up for reasons that have nothing to do with a concussion, meaning that doctors were keeping people out of action for longer than necessary. Also, just as seriously, the athletes were completely miserable. They had depression, sitting around doing nothing, and that magnifies everything else. So according to this guy, it didn't make a lot of sense. And so they started doing some homework on what you should do to rehab from concussions. And they are now saying that people can rehab from concussions with exercise. It's very similar. It's not unlike a heart attack. Because you can rehab to return to exercise from a heart attack.
Sure.
Why not? They're saying, why not take the same approach to the brain?
Oh, I don't know, man. I'm going to need more.
Well, here's more.
Yeah.
In the past 2.5 years, Letty's hypothesis has become a global consensus. Mild to moderate aerobic activity starting soon after a concussion isn't just okay, it actually boosts recovery. Strong evidence exists regarding the benefits of physical activity and aerobic exercise treatment as early interventions. The best available evidence shows that recommending strict rest until the complete resolution of concussion-related symptoms is not beneficial.
Interesting. Well, that's good. I mean, I was kind of, my fear in this is when I heard you talking about that is dumbass coaches being like, oh, what, get out there, man. You're fine, and shoving guys back out. But there's a difference between mild aerobic activity and putting yourself, because we do know that secondary concussion syndrome can freaking kill you.
Right.
And that's the scary part. And this is the part that bothered me when I played, is that no one gave two S's about concussions, and you'd get concussed and they'd put you right back in the game, where if they did pull you out of it, the next day you were back hitting people. So I guess I got a little scared there, but that's a good thing if, you don't have to sit around and do nothing. Because I do know with people that get concussions, that is a very frustrating part of it, is they just feel like they can do nothing but sit there in the dark.
Yeah. So, kind of interesting. Had no idea that was a thing.
No, I didn't
But
either.
basically, exercise is the medicine.
Someone saying, this study brought to you by the NFL, bring back the wedge. Yeah, the NFL is paying for this thing. This is like when the tobacco company spent 40 years trying to find out if nicotine was bad for you. Hey, I don't know what to tell you, man. We keep trying to find it. We got nothing.
Yeah. So they're saying, while this is kind of widely known in medical circles, in sports, it is not still.
No.
Yeah, people don't.
I've never heard of this.
No, I know. It's the first. It's kind of just getting out there.
I mean, they tell you all the time, like when you get concussed, nothing. You're down. Because some of those symptoms can last a while.
Yeah.
The nausea, the dizziness, the headaches. And everything I've ever heard is simply you do nothing. You sit down and you rest. Because it's so scary, the idea that you're messing with your brain on that. It's not like tweaking an ankle.
Yeah. He says the message hasn't trickled through to the athletes at large. Plenty of teenagers and weekend warriors continue to receive old advice that they should do nothing at all. The result is that many high school soccer players, for instance, sit out to their detriment. Clinical data suggests that the effects on girls is particularly negative.
Just be careful there, because again, it's that language. When you're dealing with people that aren't professionals, people love to pick and choose, like reading the Bible. You'll pick and choose the parts you like and then ignore the parts that you don't.
Yeah.
So like when you hear like sit out, that's the part that terrifies me, because you're going to get some guy like with soccer that's like, well, you can run around. If you can run around, why can't you be out there? Next thing you know, you take a ball off the dome, or God forbid, you're like, oh, we're just going half speed. You take an elbow, and next thing you know, because we do know for a fact that when you have a concussion, the second one, especially while you're still concussed and having symptoms, can come much, much easier.
Yeah.
So again, just to anyone listening to that, remember there's a difference between aerobic activity and the quote sitting out.
Yeah, they're saying that the goal would be to get your heart rate up to 50% of the maximum age predicted rate. For elite athletes, they're saying it's a little more subjective. They can pretty much do anything they want.
Yeah.
Until it provokes symptoms. Like if you get a headache or dizziness or eye strain.
This person here at text line said, we had a concussion specialist join our college athletic training staff, and they were preaching this. They said not only get up and moving, but sooner than later, but doing brain rehab with easy brain activities.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, got to work the brain.
I had no idea.
Got to work it.
Yeah. Again, I like
work that S.
Back in my day, the treatment to a concussion was to call you the P word.
Right.
Some smelling salts.
Right.
And send you right back out.
Yep. Isn't that crazy? And that wasn't that long.
No.
Well, it's actually still a thing, kind of.
Yeah.
That's still a thing.
Yeah, there are still quarterbacks who we watch get concussed, and everyone's like, no, that wasn't. No,
Tua.
he hurt his shoulder. You're like,
I was knocked unconscious and then finished the game. Like that's.
Yeah, but you played in the olden days.
Yeah.
I'm saying still right now. Yeah. It's still kind of
And the only saving grace now is that everyone has the eyeballs on it. So when they see like the fencing posture, then we're all like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But you're right. Tua had that, and they said it was a back injury. I can't believe they got away with that. A back. Hey, Tua, why did your hands go stiff and rigid? My back hurt. Like when you pull your shoulder blades back. Yeah, that seems to be what the problem was. And they got away with it.
They did.
And then, like, the next year, he almost died again.
All right.
Why are you going there?
Open Seggy next on The Fan.
It's time for a Ducks Report, the inside story on Oregon athletics. Brought to you by Mods PDX. The future of building is here.
What you got?
Some new formal announcements to the Oregon Ducks football coaching staff today, including a new co-offensive coordinator, Drew Maringer. So he will be the co-OC with
Who's
Will
that?
Stein.
Where'd he come from?
He was with New Mexico last as their co-OC and quarterbacks coach. Also spent 3 years with Texas as their passing game coordinator and wide receivers coach.
Lots of new positions developing there. You got to give people titles. It's all about titles nowadays.
Yeah, that's right. Mods PDX, the future of building is here.
Backed by popular demand.
You're playing golf and you're going to like it.
The 1080 The Fan VIP Golf Card. Play 5 of the best courses in Oregon and Southwest Washington for only $75. You'll enjoy the Mount Hood, Oregon Resort, Stone Creek Golf Club, Three Rivers Golf Course.
was a jam. Rage. Were you a big Rage guy back in the day?
I wouldn't say I was a big Rage guy, but I think everyone our age appreciated some Rage. But
Good driving music, good workout music?
Yeah. Of all the bands of that era, yeah, that wasn't, I wouldn't say they were anywhere near my, they never cracked a top 5, probably didn't crack a top 10. That was more of a, Bulls on Parade, like you got a ancillary sort of song or two. But like if I wanted something like that was angry inducing, I was more of a Motorhead Pantera sort of.
Yeah.
Either went heavier or softer, like Pearl Jam, or then heavier with like Metallica, Pantera, that way. Maybe some Ozzy. Dude, Ozzy in the 90s.
He was great.
After he left Black Sabbath, dude, like Ozzy was the balls as a solo guy. Controversial statement. I think I might like Ozzy on his own better than the Black Sabbath stuff.
Yeah, I don't know much of the Black Sabbath world.
Well, you get like, Paranoid and, those are like...
Well, like I said, I know of them. I just don't... Yeah. I never really listened to them much. I was more of an Ozzy guy because I'm young. I'm spry and young, and Black Sabbath was before my time.
Yeah, Sabbath was before us.
They were more 70s, right?
Yes. And then when Ozzy was doing his thing in the 80s, and he was doing kind of like, I don't know, kind of cheesy stuff, maybe a little bit like more of the 80s metal, like Shot in the Dark. But then when he came into the 90s, then Ozzy put out some phenomenal work. Some like the No More Tears and Mama I'm Coming Home and just some like classic, just unbelievable stuff. But in fact, they're doing their, I was looking into it and I probably won't happen, but they are playing, supposedly, Ozzy's doing one last show in Birmingham, England this year, and then that's it.
How old is that dude?
Oh, he's in his 70s.
8 million years old.
Yeah. So, but everyone's going. All the big metal acts, everyone's showing up, and it's going to be one big final kick-ass Ozzy Osbourne tribute. Black Sabbath's reuniting for one night, and it's going to be pretty kick-ass. But eventually, like,
I won't be there.
No, but, like at some point, like I know we're all, we're conditioned to believe that nothing is the farewell, but dude, Ozzy is going to be 77 this year, and there's some problems there. So I do believe that this may be the last go round.
This is really it.
I think this is I can't see Ozzy up there at 80 years old, singing War Pigs.
The guy can barely speak as it is. I watched that MTV Osbourne show.
Well, they said, and they say he was drunk the whole time.
Yeah, they actually say that he was that was not a good indication of all his faculties. They just said he was a raging alcoholic
during that time. He was a mess all the time.
And some of his family, like he had a daughter that wasn't on that show that wouldn't do it because she thought they were exploiting him by making fun of it. And in reality, they didn't show it, but he just was pissed drunk all the time, which is tough. You imagine like making money off your dad's raging alcohol problem?
Well, I mean, if he were an alcoholic, which he is not, we'd already talked about that on today's program. My dad occasionally has a Seagram's and 7.
Yeah.
But if he were, I mean, let's at least profit from it.
That's...
You guys want to film it?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the sad part is his wife is the one that put all that together, and then his 2 brat-ass kids got famous and got their share off of that. Meanwhile, their dad's on TV drinking himself to death, and everyone's like, oh, it's hilarious.
Well, I will say at the time, because I watched that show too, we didn't know that.
No.
We just thought that was his brain all fried from all the drugs.
Yeah.
But that wasn't,
no.
That wasn't the case.
They say that he was not gone the way people thought he was. He just was hammer drunk the entire time.
But you just didn't know that.
No.
As a viewer.
And now looking back on it, I just think it looks sad. And they always say
it is.
Well, and if you ever, I've heard this from so many different celebrities like this. They say if you want your family to fall apart, just get a reality show. They say it will tear your family to shreds.
There are perks though.
Well, money and
has it torn the Kardashians apart?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Why are you going there?
But they made $1 billion off of it, so I mean, for God's sakes, the mom put out a porno tape of her daughter to get famous.
Yeah, but that was before the reality show.
Yeah, but that's what led to it. The mom literally sat down and crafted the idea to put out a sex tape of her daughter because of the Paris Hilton thing, and it worked.
I do feel like...
Is there a rung in hell for that? I mean...
I do feel like the... who is the bitchy one? Courtney?
Yeah.
I feel like the reality show has not served her well. I feel like she's cranky and bitter because of it.
Didn't it get her mixed up with Lamar Odom?
Well, that's Chloe.
Oh, that's Chloe.
Chloe was? I thought Courtney was with Lamar. Chloe was?
Look, they have a whole
I can't remember.
They have a
which
whole
is which.
basketball lineup.
One of them was with Lord Disick, and that's the one I'm talking about.
That's Courtney, I think.
She just seems real cranky and bitter now. The other one has gotten progressively hotter, and that's the Lamar Odom one.
She has. That show has made her hotter. Probably like a drug problem and an eating disorder, but indeed hotter.
And then she was the one that dated Tristan Thompson, and he screwed her over. So, she just can't. She's just the poor gal. She can't catch a break.
Yeah, they're probably.
She doesn't understand that us
regular
guys are the way to go. But
and then one married Kanye West, and I think that was before he turned into a Nazi. But
and then her. I don't even know what's going on with her. Who's she with now? Kim.
I don't know. What do you do when? Because she has kids with Kanye West. What do you explain to your kids when their father's a black Nazi?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
How do you do that? Like when your dad is selling swastika T-shirts and hating the Jews, how do you explain that one to the old kiddos?
Crazy, man.
Is he allowed to hang out with dear old dad and
what a world,
hate on the Jews together?
All right. Well, we have killed another segment.
Yes, we have.
The club is coming up next. We're going to learn about the Tooth Fairy Index and what percentage of people pee in the shower daily.
Oh, I'm right here.
Next on The Fan.
We all hear the radio ads.
An Odyssey Sports Station. Now, Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this Sports Center update. First on The Fan, the Blazers in the final 5 minutes against the Boston Celtics. They're still trailing by 13 points. But former Oregon Duck and Westland native Peyton Pritchard having a career night. He's got 39 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists on 10 of 16 from behind the arc and 13 of 19 from the floor. Lots of news in the NFL today. Reports out of Seattle indicate receiver DK Metcalf has requested a trade. He prefers to be dealt to a contending team. We've also seen the end of the Tyler Lockett era in Seattle as the team has released him after 10 seasons with the franchise. Down in Las Vegas, the Raiders and star pass rusher Max Crosby agree on a 3-year, $106.5 million contract extension, $91 million guaranteed. Meanwhile, Zach Bond and the Eagles agreed to a 3-year contract worth $51 million with $34 million guaranteed. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley, the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's Desktop player, or tell your smart speaker. Play 1080 The Fan.
This is your home for year-round NFL coverage. The Odyssey app and Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
The following show may contain adult themes not suitable for children.
Shut the hell up.
Club 1080 with Isaac and Suk.
It does go well with a chicken.
I didn't know hanging out with you was making me smarter. Full disclosure, Morty, it's not. Temporary superintelligence is just a side effect of the mega seeds dissolving in your rectal cavity. Oh, man. Yeah, and once those seeds wear off, you're going to lose most of your motor skills, and you're also going to lose a significant amount of brain functionality for 72 hours, Morty. Starting right about now.
Club 1080 with Isaac and Suk is brought to you by Pub Beer, the official beer of cheap fun.
Should I go right? Should I go left? Damn it. How do I get in that little girl's toilet?
I'm gay.
My son is an idiot.
What is Colorado Rocky?
Feels great, baby.
He did it early. He did a lot of it.
What are you going to do? Pee on me? Like, I don't know. You know what the solution to that is? Touch our penises more often.
You can feel it kind of harden, and then you just yank.
Hey, it's your window, Daddy. Yeah, here we go. Backdoor cover.
The back door's wide open, Portland. Walk on in.
What were they down? 23?
Yeah.
Now only down 9.
3 minutes left. They're down by 9. The problem that I have here is the Celtics haven't pulled any starters because there's no one to pull.
They don't have any bench.
They don't have any bench players.
Now you're fine. The Celtics are coasting at this point.
It's going to be like at 9, and I swear to God, Peyton Pritchard's going to hit like a 38-footer at the buzzer just to screw me over.
Well, he just went over 40 for the night.
This is why gambling is great.
Yeah, it's fun.
I got a sawbuck on this guy at $10, which whatever. But the bottom line is, I would care not one iota about this. But you put a simple 10 spot down on this thing, and all of a sudden you're sweating out these final 3 minutes.
Now here's the question.
Yeah.
Let's say I have $3,000 on this game. Let's say
your flyer greater than mine. Yeah,
but let's say.
Yeah, let's say.
Would you root for me? And I have Boston. Remember, I have Boston. You have Portland.
And I got I would.
You have $10.
I would 100%.
I mean, you got to root for me, right?
It wouldn't even be close.
Okay.
I would have.
Now, where's the what's the number? Like, what's the level?
10. Like, if you had $100 on it, I would still be pulling for you.
Oh,
that's
you should be pulling for me.
$100 versus my 10. In fact, I'll go a step further. If it was 100, if you had 100 plus, let's say you got a couple hundred, you got 300 on it. I think I would have changed it. I would have hedged just so we could root together.
That's cute.
Yeah. You know, if you had $20 on it, be like, screw you, I want my 10. But you get up where you got 10 times the amount that I bet. Come on.
Let's roll together.
Let's roll together.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. This is my beer theory. A wiser man than me once said. And if you disagree with this, you're an a-hole and I feel bad for you. It is a better time to have 6 people with 1 beer than 1 guy with 6.
Right.
And if you don't feel that way, it's pathetic.
Right.
So that's my thing. If we're gambling, I don't want to gamble against you.
It's more fun to have a team bet.
It's more fun.
Yeah.
It's more fun
Like if we're sitting in the sportsbook in Vegas.
Yes.
And the game is on.
We don't want to be on opposite sides.
We want to all be on the same side.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll do it sometimes. The end of the year, my buddy that retired, because he has everything else to do, he'll go up to A&A a lot on Sunday, because what else is he doing? And he'll sit there and a group of these degenerates from his golf club, they all get together and they live bet the NFL. And it's a pack mentality. Very rarely will you get someone that goes against the group. There's usually about 5 or 6 of us that go up there, and we talk each other into bets all the time. Like I'll walk in and they're like, "Hey, what do you like?" And I'll like, "Hey," someone will give you a reason of what you like. Next thing you know, 4 of you are walking up to the kiosk there.
I like that handicap. I'm gonna tail.
Yeah, we're together, and it's such a better time, and it's like, nah, man. If we're going down together. It's the band of brothers. It's a way better way to go about it. Don't be that contrarian D-bag that goes against all your buddies, because even if you win, you look across the table and it still kind of sucks because all your buddies lost.
Yeah, you don't feel good about that.
No.
Now, if you guys are all on a game and I don't like it, I'm just going to sit it out.
Yeah, you just don't touch it.
Like, I like money.
Yeah, you don't let it go. Well,
I do let
it go. Yeah.
I do that.
Yeah. Again, it's the 6 beers. You got 6 beers. Don't hoard them. Share them.
Right.
Share them with the others. Because if you keep all 6 beers, you don't like to have a good time. You've got a drinking problem, and that's no fun.
Well, Jason,
not that 6 beers means you have a drinking problem. Just state that for the record.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys are like, "What? 6?
Hold on, record scratch."
Yeah.
Hey, my Friday night doesn't start till at least we've had 6. I'm just, it's if there's only 6, you can't hoard them all. Share.
Well, we know you like to pee in the shower.
Oh, I do not believe that there is ever a shower that goes by where I don't pee.
Every shower
I
you
believe
pee?
that is 100% pee rate.
Okay.
Why? Yeah, because the water starts hitting you.
Yeah, the water's like a physical trigger.
Yeah, I think I pee.
You always have to pee in the shower?
100%.
I don't know about always, but I would say most of the time.
I think I'll even go a step further. There are times where I turn off the water and I'm getting ready to get out of the shower and I'm like, and I'll stop. The shower's not even going and I'll just pee in the drain.
Have not done that.
Really?
Yeah.
Without flushing it down there with water?
Well, no. Once you're done peeing, then you turn the water and you do a little flush. But yeah, because the shower makes me. I think at this point I'm just conditioned.
I like that you get to the end and you're like, wait, I haven't whizzed yet. I need to do this.
Yeah.
And then rather than turn to the left and put it in the toilet, I just turn right back to the right and put it in the shower.
And it is interesting because my toilet, like most toilets, it is like I could open the shower door.
Yeah.
And pee in the toilet.
Me too.
But why would I do that when I can go no handsies and I'm in the shower?
There's really no difference, is there? I mean,
No.
it's just urine.
Yeah.
And it's going down a drain.
Yes.
It's all going to the same place, is it not?
Yeah. I can't imagine it goes. Yeah.
Well, actually, it's not all going to the same place. 2 different pipes, right?
I don't think so.
Water versus sewer?
I think it's all the same thing. Water and sewer is the same thing, and there's a treatment. Yeah. And pee's sterile anyways. Look, it's not like that shower water is someone's going to drink it. It's obviously going to be filtered and clean. Pee's sterile anyways. It doesn't cause diseases to pee in my shower. Yeah, dude, why wouldn't I pee? And now there's just never a shower where I don't pee. I just can't remember the last time it didn't happen.
Well, what percentage of Americans do you think pee in the shower on a regular basis?
I hope that number's great, but
this is new research.
But I may be
daily. Okay, so
daily?
Regular basis. This says daily.
By the way,
and then there's another number for a few times a week.
The lead is 8.
Yeah,
the back door wide open.
It's going to be right on the number.
1:18 left, wide open.
Oh, only a minute 18?
Minute 18.
Oh, you should be good.
I'm one Peyton Pritchard away from cursing on this program. I gotta believe that this is but it's females. I don't think females are shower peers.
Well, I don't.
Is this females and males, or is this just males?
It says a survey of 2,000 general population Americans.
See, this is going to screw me over. I don't think females are shower peers.
Well, no, because they've got different mechanics.
Yeah, which I don't know. I mean,
they can't just dangle it out there.
Well, I mean, you can still just kind of do.
You can squat.
Squat. I don't think that they're. I just don't think they're shower peers. So, I'm guessing. By the way, past plumber, it all goes down the same drain outside of the gutter downspouts and road drains.
Oh, okay.
So you're fine.
Okay.
I think this is a 75 to 80% male pee, and I think this is like a 15% female pee. So we'll smush those together. I'm gonna say like 45 to 50%.
Wow. Daily?
Yeah.
12%.
Oh my gosh, I'm a filthy bastard.
Yeah,
That's
12.
it?
Yeah, 12%.
That's 50% stupid.
And then 12%, another 12%, tinkle in their sprinkle a few times a week, it says here. So I do have the gender breakdown. Men, 30% pee in the shower regularly. 20% of women, according to this survey.
Only 10% more. That.
Yep.
So
Millennials.
Do you pee? I got two dudes here. Are you guys shower peers?
Not regularly, no.
No?
I have.
I regularly, but I don't know that it's like an all the time thing.
Yeah, I have, but
is that like an are people embarrassed to say that they do? It's like peeing in the sink.
Yeah, I definitely don't do that.
Oh.
I think more people pee in the shower than in the sink.
Remember there was that one guy that texted in a while back and he was trying to claim that peeing in the sink is
normal.
Is normal. Yeah. And I was like, I don't think that's
now,
normal.
do more people pee in the shower or pee in the pool?
Shower.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I'm peeing in the pool too.
Yeah. Really? See, I don't pee in the pool.
Really?
No.
No, I'm a pee pooler.
I don't like playing it, but I'm not getting out to do that.
Exactly. And let's be honest, most of the time I'm in a pool, you know what I'm doing while I'm in the pool?
Drinking.
I'm drinking. So if you've seen me in the pool and I'm 4 drinks in and you haven't seen me you haven't seen me leave the pool, guess what? You're knee deep in my business. I just assume that everyone else is peeing too. I just kind of always like that's what you do. By the way, this thing is white knuckle thin at this point. 30 seconds left. Celtics up by 8, and they just called the full timeout because the Blazers were putting on the trap on them. So this possession right here, this is it because Boston's not going to get the ball again basically after this and score. So this is
This is it.
This is it.
Comes down to this.
Oh.
Those odds makers are damn good, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to know what the percentage of pool peers versus shower peers are. I can't believe only 30% of men pee in the shower.
That surprises me. I think it's stunning that
Regularly.
it's not 50%.
Regularly.
Yeah.
It says 45% of Americans pee in the shower throughout the course of the average year. That's more like me.
What was that again?
45%.
45.
Throughout the course of the year, though, that's one time. I would think everyone does one time once a year.
I don't do it very often, I'll tell you that.
More than once a year.
Someone's saying 30% of men. I think that means 70% are lying. I would have thought that number was going to be higher. But when you do something and it becomes second nature to you, you just assume that everyone does it.
Correct.
And
it is not second nature to me.
Yeah.
At all. So you're right. I'm trying to think of something I do that's second nature that
you just
other
assume,
people would be like,
assume
what the
that
hell?
everyone does. I don't know. I just when you are in the shower, does the water make you go pee? Because it is like a trigger for me.
No.
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 No. And I don't like. And this goes back to like when I played sports, we all peed. I mean, because you're taking group showers. Oh, that's
peeing all over each other.
That's a big miss for Derek White. He launched a 3 and missed. Now Portland's got it. Oh, blimey. By the way, yes, we did pee on each other. It was hilarious, and that was a very, very common practice. Especially, you had to be careful when you were washing your face. When you're washing your face, you're primed to get peed on. You got to be real careful when you're showering next to someone and you've got soap in the face. You got to keep an eye on your kneecaps because there's a good chance someone's going to try to blow one out. But yeah, like guys just peed. So now I just assume that the water flowing over you just made everyone kind of have to pee.
It's not that common, Jace.
Only 12. My gosh, I'm a filthy bastard.
Only 12% of people men do it regularly.
Wow. Someone said, I pee in the shower every time, but peeing in the pool is disgusting.
And then this person here says, 36-year-old man here, probably haven't peed in the shower since middle school.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of guys do it. Not that they haven't done it, or not that it, I don't think people are grossed out by it.
Yeah.
It's just not something we do.
What about peeing in the river or the ocean? A little better?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're swimming in the Willamette,
yeah,
you're
why
peeing.
not?
But the pool, no.
The pool a little less so.
Yeah.
For me anyway.
But you will pee in the pool. It's just not a regular occurrence.
I won't be in the pool.
You won't pee in the pool?
No, I'll get out and go to the bathroom like an adult. But
no, I'm a toddler.
Let's learn about the Tooth Fairy Index next on The Fan. Speaking of
Check out the Fan merch locker.
There's a lot of people. It's like Woodstock, except everybody's got their clothes on.
We have a new iconic 1080 The Fan logoed hoodie for you.
Whenever you get one, you feel good about it.
You can still pick up the classic Fan t-shirt that says,
It's over, we think.
And of course, the Mike Lynch Fight ALS shirt, or What's in the Grab Bag.
That's swing, spelled S-W-I-N-J.
Shop the Fan merch locker now at 1080thefan.com.
I think I'm awesome.
Now, here's a quick look at Portland traffic.
180 with Isaac and Suk is brought to you by Pub Beer, the official beer of Cheap Fun.
Double sun power!
Now to Tooth Fairy news here on The Fan. We were just talking about this while you were away. It was Tooth Fairy Day.
Yeah.
And I was asking Buck how much he gives the kids for, how much the Tooth Fairy gives the kids.
We're not quite there yet, so we didn't know.
I think it's like $5 now for a lot of people.
Yeah, I would assume it's probably, $5.
I want to say because it's been a long time since I've had to dole out the cash, but I want to say we were a $5 at the end. I think it started out with my oldest, and I think she was pissed about the inflation. I think it was $1 back in the day, and then I think it became $2. And then for a while it went $5, and let's be honest, at the end it just kind of turned into whatever sort of cash I had laying around. Like, oh, I got 3 singles, here you go. Maybe a $2 after a Diablo trip.
Since 1998, Delta Dental has annually conducted the original Tooth Fairy poll. And it's a fun way to gauge how generous the Tooth Fairy has been over the years.
She is stingy bitch.
So it collects Tooth Fairy average giving and compares it to the stock market to show the value of a lost tooth related to the U.S. economy.
I like where we're going with this. Talk to me.
Well, you'd have to see the
chart.
The chart. But if you go all the way back to 1998, the green Tooth Fairy average line starts at like $1.75. And it peaked just over $6 a couple of years ago. It has now dipped to $5. And if you look at that compared to the purple S&P 500 line, it has pretty much mirrored it, although the S&P has yet to dip.
Yeah.
So basically what we're learning here is that
we're getting ready.
Buckle up.
Yeah. The Tooth Fairy is the canary in the cave of the financial markets. Do tariffs. Can I slap a tariff
on the Tooth Fairy?
On the Tooth Fairy.
Where's she from?
That's a good question.
Where would the Tooth Fairy be from?
Maybe Neverland?
Where's Santa from? Where's the Easter Bunny from? They're from
Santa's-
everywhere and
Santa's
nowhere.
from
Wait
the
a
North
minute.
Pole, you jackass.
Yeah, idiot. Who doesn't know that?
Are you that dumb?
Okay, I didn't think we were talking geographically. I thought you meant of like what. I know where he lives, but is he like what of Eskimo descent? Santa
I believe
Claus?
Santa is of Scandinavian descent, or is he German?
He's black.
That's a European sort of thing.
Black, please. Thank you.
Saint Nicholas. Yeah, I think that might be a Bavarian sort of thing in there. Maybe Austrian, if you will. Thinking like some Bavarian milkers. That's Mrs. Claus.
I feel like the Tooth Fairy has a British accent.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why I think of Tooth Fairy as
Mary
like,
Poppins?
I think of her as Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the little fairy.
Associate fairy with Tinkerbell, and there you have it.
Although I'd like it if the Tooth Fairy did have a Mary Poppins sort of vibe about it. Can we also talk about that back in the day, Mary Poppins was kind of had it going on?
What do you mean, kind of?
Oh, yeah. I wanted to party.
Dude, you're talking to the Mary Poppins P1.
That is true, yeah. Julie Andrews.
Who do you think you're talking to? Dame Julie Andrews is a treasure. And I don't hear no Dame Julie Andrews slander.
Can you sexy up Mary Poppins? That British accent?
Slutty Mary Poppins?
Yeah.
Go Ducks.
Never thought about it.
Yeah.
But I kind of like it.
Because they did a remake with, oh, God, I love her. Krasinski's wife.
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt. And let me tell you, phenomenal. But I would, I was like, hey, about when you lose a button or two there. Show some Poppins cleavage.
Some side boob, some under boob.
Yeah, a little something there. Someone saying Tooth Fairy is from New Zealand?
Take off your shirt and throw me.
I don't know where the old Tooth Fairy comes
well,
from.
wherever she flies in from.
This is a Tooth Fairy organization?
She's giving out about an average of $5 right now.
Now, I don't know.
Down from 6.
This is somewhat related, but about a week ago, apparently this is, it looks like, I just looked up the origin of the Tooth Fairy can be traced back to ancient folklore, but the exact origins are disputed. The Norse claimer, the Europeans in general, the French. So yeah,
so
like
pretty much everyone.
Pretty much everyone, but it is they're all European, because all that stuff, America. I mean, we weren't a thing back then, so
right. Yeah, she's definitely not American.
Yes, But in Norse mythology, they have a thing called tannfee, which translates to tooth fee. It is believed that parents would give their children a small fee for when they lost their first tooth. And that goes back to the Viking days. So medieval Europe, teeth had magical power. Some believe that witches could use them for spells. So parents would bury or burn their children's lost teeth to protect them. But that's not pain. And then in the 1700s, the French, there was a fairy tale called The Little Mouse, in which a mouse takes the child's lost tooth and leaves a coin in its place. So it sounds like, according to AI here, that the Norse or the French are the first to kind of grab that, because the American fairy tale did not happen until 1908. So French or the Vikings.
And then the Americans, we gave kids money for teethsies?
1908, an article in the Chicago Daily Tribune suggested that parents tell their children about a fairy who exchanges teeth for money. So that the first one to pop in America was the 1908.
So the stupid Chicago newspaper.
Chicago newspaper, yeah. They thought it would be a whimsical sort of thing.
And it just catches on just like that, huh?
Yes, and then then it really blossomed in the 50s. Disney had a tooth fairy that was often featured in cartoons and films. So there you go. There's a brief history.
The history of the tooth fairy.
This was like a week ago. It was before I went down to spring training. My daughter is trying to get her citizenship in Korea. So I needed to find her mother's papers, the Korean birth certificate and all that stuff. I'm like, oh my God. So I had no idea where any of that stuff is. And so you know where you have to go when you can't find stuff.
You got to go to the
tooth fairy.
You go to the attic.
Oh.
Well, I mean,
that's not what I was.
Well, my wife's things, my late wife's, a lot of that stuff is just in boxes and it's in the attic. So I head to the attic and I'm digging through old boxes. And I have no idea where these things could possibly be. I know they're there. I know her adoption papers are there. I've seen that stuff, but that was 15 years ago. So I'm having to go box to box to box. And I found a bunch of old letters and I found little kids projects and a bunch of random crap. And you know what I found an S-ton of? And I have no idea what to do with them. Teeth. I found an entire, like an Altoid tin box.
Yeah.
I found an entire one of those.
She kept them all.
Full of teeth.
Yeah, I think
I've got like 50 kid teeth.
I don't know what you do with them. Dude, come on. I think you chuck them.
Just chuck
at the kids' heads.
I'm telling you what, it was a little, and some of them had like dried blood on them and stuff. And
I know.
It's a little unsettling. It's a little unsettling to open a tin full of teeth.
Yeah, you don't need that.
No, but I felt weird. I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, guys. I put them back in the tin and sealed them. I'm like, oh, these are staying in the attic.
Oh, that's a problem for future you, as you.
Well, it's a problem for like when I die and my kids clean out the attic and they can decide what to do with their damn teeth. I also thought it was weird that we didn't separate, and by we I mean her. We didn't separate. It's all just one big pile of teeth.
Yes, you don't know whose teeth are whose.
No. But I believe I swear to God, every tooth has to be. I mean, it is a pile of teeth. It creeped out the BTJ. She's like, ugh. I was like, oh. She goes, you kept those? I'm like, I didn't keep
What
crap.
else? Did she have hair in there too?
Yeah,
like
we did
locks
have
of hair.
Yeah, we did have the baby hair, and those were like taped down. Which again, I found some dog hair in there too. When the dog passes, like they do.
Yeah.
Did you have your dogs cremated?
Mm-hmm.
So they do a little dog print or whatever, and they shave like part of your dog, and they put a little packet of dog hair. That was in there too. There's dead dog hair up there. Basically, I've got a crime scene. I've got a serial killer thing happen in my attic. I got dead dog hair. I got a bunch of weird kid teeth. It's very strange.
Maybe your wife killed a bunch of people.
I don't know. Yeah, are those even my kids' teeth? Or is she just randomly collecting
No,
teeth?
they're trophies from other kills.
Really freaky.
Well, we've got some youngs who got dismembered in Mexico. I got to tell you about that.
Ah.
Coming up next.
There's a fun, happy little...
It'll be exciting.
Beautiful little segue.
Here's Buck.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brian Buckley with this Sports Center update. First on the Fan, the Blazers dropped their second of 6 games so far on the road trip. They fall to the Boston Celtics 128-118. Peyton Pritchard with a career night for Boston off the bench. He goes for 43 points, including 10 of 16 from deep. He also finished with a double-double. He had 10 rebounds. Derek White aided him with 41 points of his own, including 9 of 17 from beyond the arc. Lots of news in the NFL today as reports out of Seattle indicate that receiver DK Metcalf has requested a trade. We've also seen the last of Tyler Lockett in Seattle. He's been released by the franchise after 10 years with the team. Down in Las Vegas, the Raiders and star pass rusher Max Crosby have agreed to terms on a 3-year, $106.5 million deal that'll include $91 million in guaranteed money. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, linebacker Zach Bond and the Eagles agreed to a 3-year contract worth $51 million. $34 million of that is guaranteed. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Ryan Buckley, the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan show.
I've got gruesome Mexico news.
Sounds fun. We'll get more Mexican fear-mongering.
Well,
are we going to get Canadian fear-mongering now from people?
Well,
we love to fear-monger Mexico. Are we doing that now north of the border?
Well, Trump is starting that. He did. He started that today.
Did he?
Well, yeah. He was talking to the Canadian Trudeau guy.
Yeah.
About the tariff thing.
So now we're going to get
and
murdered?
he just lumped. Well, no, he said a lot of drugs coming in through the borders, your border, Mexico border, and the whole. I mean, we don't need to get the whole thing, but he was kind of making it sound like it's the same.
I'm just waiting for the day because I love going to Mexico and I love going to Canada, and every time I go to Mexico, I have to hear, oh, you're gonna get killed. Now I'm waiting for when I go to Vancouver. Oh, probably gonna die.
Yeah, I know how you feel about these stories, but I got to tell you, the reason they are, and this one I'll tell you in a second, but the reason they keep the fear mongering going is because they oftentimes do seem quite random.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Sure.
And so all it takes is one or two, just total random people to get beheaded.
Sure.
And now we're freaking out.
I mean, it's like plane crashes a little bit, right? Like one happens and everyone's like, I'm afraid to fly. Well, the percentages of it being you are tiny, but the fact it can happen freaks people out.
Well, I say this all the time. Like, when I'm going down to Mexico City for a concert, and the number of people that you're gonna die, and I would make the argument, if I said I was going to a White Sox game, couldn't you say the same thing? Because I don't know if you've seen that side of Chicago. That's where my daughter went to school, and you do not want to be in that part of Chicago at night. You're going to catch a stray, like bad things. Any city, but we love to fearmonger Mexico like nobody's business. And yes, there's parts of it that are scary, but, I've been going down there for 20 years.
So well, maybe not here. It depends on where you go.
Exactly. And even when you are in certain cities, there's places down there that you really shouldn't go.
The bodies of 9 students who went missing on vacation in southern Mexico last month have been found dismembered.
Yeah, it's not good.
By the side of a highway.
That's not good.
With a bag of hands nearby.
Oh! Wait, are they their hands or are they other hands?
Their hands.
I was going to say, which is more disturbing? Their hands or if they're like, I don't know where these hands came from.
It's just other hands that belong to other dead bodies.
Do you have to match the hands? Do you have to? I mean,
yeah, I think you probably got to
find
out.
They're all dead.
I think you got to find out whose hands those are because you either have 9 dead bodies or you have 18 dead bodies.
Probably also used for identifying.
Yeah, you got to know.
Fingerprints.
So are they just in the morgue, just tossing hands around? Oh no, that's that guy.
They're playing a little puzzle game. Does that one match?
Yeah, is that one
probably
switch them around?
I don't think that's this guy.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yes, the gruesome remains were discovered in the trunk of an abandoned vehicle and underneath a blood-covered tarp in San Jose. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. It's on the border of the Mexican states of Puebla and Oaxaca.
Ooh, Oaxaca is delightful.
Yeah, kind of scary, isn't it? 9 of them. 4 of the bodies were in the trunk. The other 5 corpses were under the tarp.
And they're saying these were just vacationing students?
Well, a bag. So it said a bag with 8 pairs of hands was also found at the scene. 2 more hands left in the trunk. So that accounts for all the hands.
Yeah, that's all the hands. All hands on deck.
The bodies of the 4 women and 5 men, they were ages 19 to 30, all had bullet wounds and signs of torture.
Oh, boy.
The group was from Tlaxcala? I don't know
where that is.
They reported missing February 27th when they traveled to the beaches in Oaxaca for vacation.
Oh, dude. The beaches of Oaxaca are some of the most beautiful in Mexico.
Yeah, dude.
That place, by the way, that is another Mexican state. So it's just outside of Mexico City.
Oh, okay. So they were from Mexico.
So they're kids from Mexico vacationing in a different part of Mexico.
Suburban Mexico City, it looks like on the map, and they were up in Oaxaca.
What do you think about that? Now, do you think that they were into some nefarious things?
That's the only thing. And look, I don't want to shame. I mean, God, that's just brutal. That is absolutely brutal.
But
well, a lot of times, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is just Remember, there was a number of years ago. There were some 2 brothers that were surfing, and they got robbed, and the brothers tried to fight back, and the guys killed them, and they were from San Diego. So I mean, that does happen. But a lot of times down there, they'll tell you, especially in places that aren't real bad, the cartels don't want to do this. They do not want to raise alarm bells. And the Mexican state doesn't want you killing tourists around tourist areas.
Sure.
So a lot of times when that happens, there is a sense of, were you doing something you shouldn't be doing that ran afoul of that? I don't know. But that's brutal. 9 of them? They said it's collaborating and they're...
Yeah, they're not saying much. They're investigating.
And that's my other thing is like when there's no details other than, but they look real young.
19 to 30.
Yeah.
Ages.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's like that's why it's still a thing. Is
Yeah.
that you see that it's like, well, were they messing with the cartel or were they just going about their business?
Yeah, you never know.
And you like you said, Oaxaca is a great place.
Yeah, it really is. Like we have a buddy of mine that goes to my jiu-jitsu gym, and he's from Mexico.
But it's also way down there, isn't it?
Yeah,
Isn't Oaxaca way down
and
there?
he will not stop talking about that Oaxaca is like the nicest, the nicest place. Like that's where Mexicans go to vacation. It's some of the just beautiful place on earth, and yet you got that. That's
Mexico.
horrible.
Mexico saw 30,000 murders in 2023, the most recent figure, making it the most violent year in the country's history.
No good. That just breaks my heart. And we'll see what details come out. But whether you were into something or not, I mean, no one deserves that. There's no like, oh, well, you were where you shouldn't supposed to be. That's just freaking terrible.
Well, if it's like gang or cartel related, you wonder if one of the kids had a parent or a relative or someone that had a tie and someone sending a message. And
yeah, you never know.
Because we did read about that, right? They will find cartels now.
Yeah.
They will stop random people.
Yeah.
Random youngs.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about that.
And check their phone for people that they
know
are enemies of
Yeah.
or whatever, and if they see any contact with them at all,
known adversaries essentially.
yeah, they will kill.
Yeah.
The person.
So
on the spot.
there is that element of were you on vacation and one of you was tied up in something and was carrying something, and next thing you know.
Absolutely ruthless.
Yes.
Those MFers out there.
Oh yeah, dude, that is 100%
Crazy.
true. And look, every time I travel down there, absolutely, I do. You're certainly more aware of it when you travel down there, and that Oaxaca is. I mean, it is down there. I mean, you are southern Mexico at that point. I don't know. That's just, I hate that. I hate it for them, and then again, this, like you said, maybe it's justified, but the fear mongering then continues to be justified in a lot of people's eyes, and I just that hurts.
They have fun down there, though.
Well, some of the people down there are the nicest people you will ever encounter.
I've heard great things about Mexico City.
And Mexico City was incredible. But to your point, right? So me and my buddy were down in Mexico City, went down there for a concert, and everyone's like, "Oh, Mexico City, you're gonna die." Dude, our hotel, there was a Bentley dealership across the street from it. Mexico City is a nicer, cleaner, and more opulent city than most that I've been to in the United States. There is a lot of money in Mexico City.
And you had a delightful night at Chili's.
That is true. And their Chili's stay open until like 3 a.m. Although, can we point out, no queso dip at the Mexico City Chili's? What am I even doing? Like, I'm drunk and wanting queso dip.
You deserve that.
At like 2 a.m, where's my queso? So we were driving because the F1 stadium is where the concert was. So we were going out there. And as we were going through, you could tell we were going through a part of the city that was a little like, whoa, this doesn't look like where we were staying. So we asked the hotel driver, we're like, hey, what's the deal here? And he's like, oh. And so he starts telling us about it. And he's like, do you guys want to go there? And we were like, I was like, I don't know. And we asked the guy, we're like, is that, and he just looks and he kind of shrugged his shoulders and he goes, I wouldn't. And I'm like, you wouldn't? Like, you wouldn't drop us or you wouldn't go? He goes, no, I wouldn't go. And we're like, gotcha. And like, that's the thing. You don't go there. And then when we were going to see the ruins, we hired a little guide to drive us out there. And that's where you drive by the favelas, like outside of the city. And you get outside of the city, oh my God. And that's when the driver was like, okay, well, this is the other part of the city. And he goes, you don't go there for anything. And we're like, what? And he goes, that's all controlled.
Not even my drugs?
No. He just says that is an entirely different animal. You do not go there under any circumstances. He said, do not take an Uber there. Do not let anyone tell you that you need to go to a restaurant there. He just looked right at us and said, you don't belong there. And we're like, you got it.
You got it.
But there might be some tourist down there that's like, well, screw you. You can't tell me where to go. And if you're some two dumbass white guys that decide that you're going to go check out the rough neighborhoods of Mexico City, that's on you.
What if they didn't get the warning?
Well,
that you got, and they don't know what they're doing.
Oh, then again, there's a little bit on you. When you go to Mexico City, you better start digging around about where you should go.
Yeah. When you travel internationally, you cannot be totally naive. If you do, you own some of that.
The place that has the Bentley dealership, you're fine. The outskirts where all the buildings look like they're made of tin, maybe not.
Okay. Pro tip.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it up next on The Fan.
The best basketball party is back. George McCoy at Warren Allen Attorneys at Law presents Fan Madness, March 20th and 21st at the Stadium Sports Bar, home to Aileen A Sportsbook. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
That's the guy that should shoot it.
Fan Madness at Aileen A. More info at 1080 The Fan.
The slipper still fits.
.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call
with Isaac and Suk is brought to you by Pub Beer, the official beer of Cheap Fun.
Can I get a hot tub?
Hey.
Oh, Ovechkin just got one.
Yeah, he did.
I think we're 8 away now, maybe. The great chase is on, the great 8. Well, maybe 9 left to get Gretzky. The once unthinkable. This would be arguably the biggest thing to happen in hockey in 30 years.
Bigger than TGL Tuesdays?
Slightly bigger than TGL
Plus,
Tuesdays.
we did just have the Four Nations face-off.
Where's he from?
Russia.
Oh, he's the Russian.
He's a Putin guy, too.
Oh, is he?
Well, he's kept it quiet over the last
He kind of can't be outwardly a Putin guy,
wait a
but
minute.
he's a Putin sympathizer.
So, aren't just rich people Putin guys? Like, how could you be just a regular citizen of Russia and be for Putin?
Well, Putin
unless
was
you're brainwashed.
Putin was a big sports guy, and so before the whole invasion thing, Ovechkin would he partied with him and stuff. I don't think he had much of a choice back in those days, but since then Ovechkin keeps it pretty quiet. But he's a great guy by all accounts. I'm pro Alexander Ovechkin. So I don't know. I mean, I guess when LeBron broke like the scoring record, that was cool, but everyone knew that was going to get broken. This is, I don't know. This isn't even Bonds breaking Aaron, because again, people thought, oh, you could get that. This was maybe the Cal Ripken streak if someone got that. Like, this shouldn't be broken. Like, no one thought that this could be touched, and yet he is.
How old's that dude?
Ovechkin's like 38, 39.
Damn, really?
Yeah, and he's having a great year. And he doesn't really take care. He looks
39.
He looks like hell.
He looks like he parties.
Oh, he does.
He does.
He does. He kind of does the Shaq. He gets fat in the off season, just drinks and smokes, and yet here he is.
And he comes back rifling one-timers in the fall.
Yeah, he's got another 30 goals this year. I mean, he hasn't slowed. He is the LeBron James of hockey. He doesn't seem to age, and yet LeBron spends $1 million and takes care of himself. Ovi is just like, I drink vodka. It's insane. Apparently, vodka is the secret to eternal youth.
Well, you always read about that. You know, the old people that are like 117 or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, okay, maybe not 117, but like 102.
I love those guys.
And they're like, what's the key to life? Vodka, chocolate.
I just saw one of those the other day.
Bitches.
Dude was like 106, and his secret to life was eating chocolate and partying.
Yes.
Like, cool, man.
That's what I mean.
Love it.
They always say that. Oh,
Their genes are just better than the rest of everybody else.
I drink a Diet Coke every 10 minutes.
It works.
And we're like, what?
Yeah. Like, I can't relate to LeBron, but I can relate to Ovi. I can relate to, I like to have a good time.
Yeah, I'm a good hockey player, too.
It's the off season.
All right.
Well, I'm not a good basketball player, so. If it wasn't for that whole skating thing. Woo.
Wednesday show down.
I got Hamilton to go to tonight. Let's go.
Let's go. I'm taking you there.
Alexander
I'm your Uber.
Hamilton.
I expect tips.
We got to,
especially after losing my Celtics bet.
Well, I pushed, so I'm not up anything.
Well, I lost.
Half a point.
I'm going to see Hamilton next week.
That's what you get for getting a bad number.
Phenomenal show.
Never seen it before.
Oh, you'll absolutely love it. So it's here for the next, 10 days or whatever?
Something
week?
like that.
So if you get a chance, go see Hamilton at the Keller. Phenomenal.
Screw you and your culture.
Wait for the guys like, George Washington isn't black.
I'm going to the strip club.
That's culture too. It's our culture.
In my own way.
There you go.
Everybody have a great night. We're back.